No way. No way. The Shannon Sharp situation. Oh, what? Well, nothing said. That's what he did.
Well, there was some things said, but.
Yeah. Just look on Twitter.
It's one of those things where it's better to educate yourself on that one, yeah. We would not survive that.
He looks like a horse. Man looks like a horse. So there you go. You're not wrong.
You're watching the Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week, presented by My 48. The reigning state champions in the football capital of North Carolina, Reedsville Rams. They host their rivals of 3A power, the Eastern Alamance Eagles. Welcome to the Community Stadium with Mark Covert. I'm Evan Budrovich. Reedsville's won 15 straight games. Their last loss to these Eastern Alamance Eagles. Mark, what's the greatest attribute of this year's Reedsville team?
Speed, and did we say speed? This is a team that is deep. They are athletic. They are strong, fast, everything you want in a modern football team. The Reedsville Rams exemplify. They put on a show the first 3 weeks of the season. They have a great chance to put on another one here tonight.
Reedsville outscoring opponents by 40 points a game coming in. And for more on the reigning state champs, here's Rebecca Russell.
Thanks so much, guys. Well, they don't call it the football capital of North Carolina for nothing. Here at Community Stadium, they've updated their list of accomplishments to add state championship number 23 to their resume. And after talking with second-year head coach Eric Teague, how do they continue their success from last year? Well, it all starts with their seniors. And this year's motto, hunt or be hunted. After learning that from the Georgia Bulldogs, who won a national title a year ago, they've taken that and applied it to this year's team. They know that everyone's going to come and bring their A game each and every game, so they have to prepare and come hungry each and every play. Eric Teague also adding that this year's Eastern Alamance team may be 0-3, but they may be the best 0-3 team in the state.
Thanks, Rebecca. This Reedsville team even more dangerous after a 3-0 start. But we'll see if Eastern Alamance can play spoiler tonight and repeat last year's upset. When we come back, starting lineups and kickoff, the Eagles and the Rams when we return to Reedsville. Welcome back to Reedsville, North Carolina. Great night for high school football. And let's take a look at tonight's Skywatch weather game forecast. From ABC 45's Jonathan Wendt. Great temperature at kickoff. Mark, we're in for, after a crazy week of weather, really good Friday night.
We've been pretty lucky here at the beginning of this season, Evan. I mean, the weather has been absolutely spectacular, and usually this time of year we're kind of worried about what that heat might bring cramps-wise, but this is the third week in a row we've had some pretty spectacular weather for kickoff.
Makes for some dynamic keys to tonight's matchup. Reidsville's last loss 360 days ago against Eastern Alamance. And Mark, what must the Eagles accomplish tonight?
Got to play some bully ball up front. Tyreek Samuel is back in the backfield. That offensive line has to respond in a positive way here tonight. Knock that defensive Reedsville off the football if they want to get momentum. And then what's your response? We'll talk about this throughout the game, but what's that response look like for this team tonight? What are they going to do when they get punched in the mouth, when the scores goes up? As for Reedsville, playing from ahead, this team loves to score points. If they can get on the board, get ahead of it, they put themselves in a great spot, and then shutting down the aforementioned running game of Eastern Alamance.
We focus on two dynamic offenses tonight, Mark, and it starts with Eastern Alamance. Tyreek Samuel, the running back in action tonight.
Absolutely. I already talked about him a little bit. Just a dynamic player, hard runner, very fast as well. Complete package at that running back spot. He's going to be monumental here tonight. Moving over to Reedsville, we'd be remiss if we didn't discuss their quarterback and all Mr. Everything, Deontay Neal. He is electric. The quarterback spot last week, over 200 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's going to be instrumental in a victory here tonight for the Reedsville Rams.
Neal, a former wide receiver, now a quarterback, and he went 16-20 last week. Dynamic offensively. 5 state titles in 10 years for Reedsville. And now this rivalry resumes tonight with a short pooch kick. Opening return for Cottrells Jr., the receiver. Douglas gets a block. Cottrells is loose and knocked down to the 50. Nice tackle. Deontay Neal, the quarterback, getting the job done.
Right place at the right time, but you cannot ask for much of a better start if you are Eastern Alamance. Capitalize on the short kick, recognize where your lanes are. Great blocking by this kickoff return team, and a solid return up the middle, right where they need to be to start this drive.
Here's Zach Marshall, the quarterback, to get rolling. Junior, first-year starter. And immediately runs over to the coach. Like a scene in Longest Yard where Adam Sandler leads way to a dynamic 2-point conversion. Marshall from the 50. Blitz coming. Intercepted. Janias Sharp the pick. He's got plans. And inside the 35. First big play from this Reedsville defense. Their 5th pick of the year.
Read it like a book. That time just trying to target Deshaun Hairston down the field along that Eastern Alamance sideline. Sharp reads it excellently, breaks on the football, picks it off, and brings it back. Just too greedy on that first play. You want to make an impact, I understand, but you got to make the right play on the first play from scrimmage of this game. Sharp capitalizes and now gives the Rams excellent field position.
Marshall with picks in back-to-back weeks. That was the bugaboo for Eastern Alamance in a loss last week, 50-7. Here's Deontay Neal anchoring the Reedsville offense from the 32. Neal rolls out. Quick toss and a completion. That's Cam Jones, the tight end, just short of the sticks. Here's the Mountain Fried Chicken starting lineup. Mountain Fried Chicken, Winston-Salem's original fried chicken. New starting quarterback, new starting running back, but elite talent offensive.
Same result, right? I mean, this is an offense that just continues to roll right along. All the new pieces have fit perfectly together, including there. You saw the out route that time. Nice gain on first down.
Gain of 10. Sets up the running game. This is Michael Smith bouncing outside. Great pursuit. And a solid tackle. Deshaun Hairston, the senior linebacker.
Really nice play. Was the targeted receiver on the first play of scrimmage for Eastern Alamance. Makes a big play on defense.
Mountain Fried Chicken defensive line. 4 new starters on the D-line, but it's the sophomore Rhett Page. Really good linebacker.
Yeah, sure is. He reads everything very well. The game slows down for him. Very sideline to sideline kind of guy. Going to be interesting to watch what kind of impact he has here tonight.
Eastern Alamance giving up 40 points a game coming in. Now 2nd and 8. Neal, the screen. Good hands. Galloway. Frankie gets a block. Galloway to the 6. Touchdown saving tackle by Zeph Gaddis.
It looked as if Eastern Alamance had that one sniffed out a little bit, but Reedsville too good. Execution was there. Defense flows. Neal throws back. And Galloway almost puts it in the box on the third play from scrimmage for the Rams.
Welcome to the Cook Reynolds Red Zone, running the smart way to get things done. New quarterback in. Janiah Sharp in the red zone. Neal in motion. It's Sharp. Spins to the 4. Good red zone stop by C.J. Chambos, the captain.
Really nice stop. Played it perfectly, almost coming off the edge, and you have to pause for just a second to see who's going to get that football between your two. Not Harrison. Sharp keeps it himself, doesn't hand it off to Neal, reads it perfectly, makes the stop. Give yourself a chance here now deep in your own territory.
2nd and goal. Neal hands it off. Powering run. Touchdown, Reedsville. Jariel Cobb's 2nd effort. Reedsville strikes first.
2nd effort's right. Didn't seem like he got in there, flexes a little bit right there, and rightfully so. The fight to continue. Not hearing the whistle, not stopping until you find pay dirt. That time Cobb, the beneficiary of that 2nd effort.
8th touchdown of the year. That's an Oxner-Permar touchdown. We make wrongs right. And this is a conventional extra point, but testing the alignment of the defense tonight.
Trying to see if they're prepared. A lot of teams end up doing that just to see if they can capitalize and get an extra point on the board.
Extra point on the way for Reedsville. And that one sneaks through. Good boot for Grady Barrett and a 7-0 start for Reedsville. We'll take the timeout off the interception. 35 yards in a hurry. It's Reedsville up 7-0. Closed captioning for tonight's game is brought to you by Caring Hands. At Caring Hands Home Health, we understand the happiness of your loved ones is important to their wellness. Eric Teague in year 2 here at Reidsville. His club leads by a touchdown and a fair catch called. So, fresh off the pick, how does Zach Marshall clean things up drive 2?
Well, don't stare down at a receiver this time. Again, maybe he was just trying to make that play, right? The first play from scrimmage, you come off of the big return, you want to make an impact early on. Take what the defense gives you. If that means tucking the football down and run or dumping it off to a receiver closer to the line, that's fine. But make the smart play.
Marshall 19-25 last week, but 2 interceptions were his bugaboo in an 0-3 start. Eastern Alamance 1st and 10 from the 32. It's Tyreek Samuel on the ground. Samuel drags forward for 3 yards. Samuel anchors this Mountain Fried Chicken starting lineup out last week, but a 2,000-yard rusher from last year.
And he is so paramount for what this offense wants to do. The pinnacle of them operating is when they're running the football efficiently, and it starts with number 30 right there, Tyreek Samuel.
Eastern Alamance noting the presence of Captain Deshaun Hairston, elite wide receiver in the slot.
All-around guy they want to get the football to, very electric once he has the football in his hands and those yards after the catch opportunity.
An audible here from Marshall, the first-year starter. Jason Ball has since graduated. 2nd and short. Quick out route. That's Cottrell's the catch. And he's dancing in the moonlight right at the sticks. Great 2nd effort. And now the Mountain Fried Chicken defensive lineup. Winston-Salem's original fried chicken that's not greasy. This Reedsville team replaces 4 starters, but the secondary mark is the strength, led by Cam Jones.
It sure is, and we already saw Sharp make his impact, but Cam Jones is such a unique player, so tall, lanky. You see him work in the slot offensively, and is one of their top corners as well.
Sets up 3rd and 1. Marshall, the quick count, not on the same page as Taraji Rogers in a false start. Head coach Mitch Michener, the offensive coordinator as well. This is an important 3rd down here.
Think about what that does for your playbook. On 3rd and 1, it's completely open at that point, but 3rd and 6 certainly shrinks it down a little bit.
Mercer to throw. Pressured. Tough catch on the sideline. And he has it. That's Deshaun Hairston, his 6th catch of the year.
He looks like he might be just shy of that 1st down marker. Nice throw out to the sideline. Good timing. Find your guy. And Hairston works. Just maybe slightly short.
That's not a friendly spot.
No.
If you're Eastern Alamance. He caught that at the 42. But no forward progress. 4th and 1.
If you're Reedsville, hold your water here. Don't fall for any of those fake counts that would draw this defense off sides.
Keep tabs on Captain Tyrese Turner on the D-line. 4th and short. Merchel, the toss. Samuel slips one. Has the first. Extra effort on a tough tackle.
Well, you got to think, if you're going to go and get it 4th and 1, got to have it kind of down, especially here early on. Give it to your bell cow running back, and Tyreek Samuel. Let him do the dirty work. Great blocking up front.
And he was pressured 5 yards back.
He sure was. But the speed, you see the elusiveness there, and then the awareness to just turn those shoulders and get upfield.
Tyreek Samuel, 125 yards last year. How important is he tonight?
He's the biggest reason that there will be an upset here tonight, if we have one at Reedsville.
Samuel fielded the first Alamance win over Reedsville in 2 years. Here's a quick out route. Cottrell's the catch. Gets a block down the sideline to the 41, but a late flag at the sticks. This might be coming back. We'll see what the penalty is here. Our lead referee, Jeffrey Davis, tonight. And that is coming back.
Watching upfield that time. And yeah, it's a pretty good call, but it's officiating crew. Just a little too handsy that time by Rogers.
Second penalty for Eastern tonight. How do you use that quick passing game if you're Eastern tonight?
Well, it's going to be effective, and it's already effective there. Even without the hold, there was room that time. Trail's got room to work with there. They've just got to keep running those plays, but execute better.
1st and long. Samuel gets the ball, gets another block, and gets all the penalty yardage back. Gain 8.
That's what it's got to be here tonight. It's got to be a heavy dose of Tyreek Samuel in that running game. But an offensive line, great job firing off the football that time and getting those blocks down the field.
Samuel, the first 3 weeks, only 2 yards per carry. Much better start in the first quarter.
Absolutely insane. When you think about him only having those 2 yards, just shy of 3 really, in the first 2 games of his season before missing last week with injury.
Sets up 2nd and short after the Samuel run. Here's Cottrell's in motion. Back to the bell cow. Pulling guards. And enough for the first. The Crescent Ford first down, right in the game in style with the new F-150 from Crescent Ford.
And this is the kind of running ability you get with a guy like Samuel. It's no nonsense. There's not a lot of dancing to what he does. He's a very efficient runner. One cut, and he's going to go up the field. But this time just stays on the track of the play and picks up the first down. So all you need to do is keep those sticks moving right down the field.
Samuel, a 3,000 career yard rusher in his high school tenure. Now from the Reedsville 45, Marshall out of the pocket. Zach slides and gains 3. And positive plays, though, important tonight.
And those are the plays that are going to help them sustain drives. It's the small ones and it's the smart plays. Marshall's got to understand, if you're going to take those shots, make sure they are timed right. But if not, take off with it. Take the short pass. Whatever it takes to pick up yards.
Gain of 2 officially for Marshall. First-year starting quarterback. 2nd and 8. It's Samuel. Cuts it outside. Breaks the tackle. And loses a yard. Good pursuit by the secondary, which brings back 4 starters from a year ago.
And it's just going to be tough. It's going to be tough sledding here tonight. This Rams defense is going to be aggressive. But offensively, especially along that line, You've got to stop the leakage where you can. This time, just a little bit of that backside pressure gets there. A couple of blitzers coming downfield.
And that's the quarterback, Deontay Neal.
Yes.
Who's an elite all-state corner as well. Great field position on 3rd and 10. Marshall pumps out of the pocket. Marshall directs traffic. Samuel brings it in. What a catch! 25-yard dime to Samuel.
Hang on, we knew he could run the football, but what a catch down the sideline. Samuel tracks that ball through the air over his shoulder. Marshall puts it exactly where it needs to be, and what a catch.
He just got mossed.
The concentration to hang on to that football while getting hit. Unreal play for your all-star running back to make.
First reception of the year for Samuel. Put it on SportsCenter.
That is I'm throwing it up and I'm letting my guy go get it. What a play.
New running back into the game on 1st down. And now a timeout, probably to get Tyreek Samuel back in the football game.
Looks like a little bit of confusion along that Eagles sideline, maybe a little bit of miscommunication. But how about this drive? How about the response? Something we talked about this week. What is the response going to be from this Eastern Alamance team?
Coming up on play 10 of the drive. And Mitch Michener's got the great long flowing hair. He replaces a legend in John Kirby, 30 years on staff. John's son, JT, part of the staff now, but Mitch Michener bringing a level of positivity to this group.
Well, this is a game of guys relieving their former head coaches and the shoes being massive to fill. I mean, absolutely, Kirby was a legend within the state. Now, Coach Michener's got a big task ahead of him, but this team looking promising here in the early goings of this one.
Mitch Michener, who worked under Coach Aguilar at Western Alamance, brought him together in the county, and now he's part of the staff, first year, moving from the Wilmington area. And there's the legend's son himself, Eric Teague, former state champ. His dad, Jimmy Teague, one of the best in the country. Now from the red zone, Marshall feeds C.J. Chambliss for 2 yards. Eric Teague, who spent a decade under his father, who won over 330 games, and a great start for Reedsville.
It's been a fantastic start for Reedsville, and we already talked a little bit now about Jimmy, but Eric's making a name for himself. By the time we're all said and done here, he could very well be standing toe-to-toe with his father, and as tough a task as that is, and the shadow that it bears, he's got a shot.
This is Jimmy Teague Field here in honor of the Pops. 2nd and 8 for the Eagles. Chambliss gets a block. Sneaks to the 10, tiptoes to the 7. Hard run for C.J. Chambliss, the captain.
Basically put that one in reverse and just backed his way into a first down. But again, keeping those legs churning, one of the key attributes for a running back, just get those legs moving and don't let them stop. See here, gets about 3, maybe 4 yards after that initial contact and picks up the first down.
8 carries, 30 yards as Chambliss exits the game after the Crescent Ford first down. And the bell cow, Tyreek Samuel back into the game. Also the fullback, Jaden Russo, gets his first reps. 1st and goal. The fake toss. Fumble! Oh, hanging on for dear life. Merchel has it. He goes back to the 16.
If Zach Merchel doesn't turn around a half second sooner, that is going back the other way, and it's disastrous for this offense. Kind of just relaxes there for a second after making the fake, realizes it's on the ground, and just jumps on it.
And that play wouldn't have worked from the start.
No.
Great penetration by Jaquez Tynes, the sophomore.
Slow developing play up front. You've got to have time to allow plays like that to work. The offensive line just could not get there. Too many Rams coming downfield.
Now a 2nd and goal from the 17. Marshall to pass. Has a man. Cottrell's the block. There goes Cottrell's. Touchdown. 16-yard pitch and catch for the Oxner and Permar touchdown.
That quick passing game had to work here tonight. That time Cottrell's gets out wide, one-on-one with a safety, makes him miss, and it's all green grass and blue turf from there. What a response by the Eagles of Eastern Alamance.
It's the quick passing game as well on 2nd and long. And now the extra point. Logan Grimshaw comes in. First-year starting kicker, and he's up to the task. Efficient 13-play, 68-yard drive. And that's the response Eastern Alamance needed. Great battle on tap in Reedsville. 7 a pop. Our My 48 game of the week.
Thank you.
Let me know when I'm not on camera. Welcome back to Community Stadium. 7-7 our score here. Eastern Alamance with the response. This year they had these new poker chips made with their new head coach, Coach Mitch. E plus R equals O is what it says on the back. E, event. R, response. O, outcome. Only one of these they can determine, and that is their response. And that's exactly what new head coach Mitch Mitchner wants his team to do. On these wristbands, hashtag positive response. Exactly what they did on the field, and exactly what his team wants to do.
A great point. An excellent 68-yard drive to tie this game. And Mark, Eastern 0-3, but a great schedule. They've come out to play tonight.
They sure have, and this is, again, what we saw last year. When they pulled that upset, even at home against Reedsville, they were sharp, they were precise. It was running the football, the quick passing game. It was all there, and that's what we saw on their first real drive of the evening, responding from that interception on the first play from scrimmage.
Now on the defensive side, can Eastern slow down the third highest scoring offense in the state? It's the Grimsley Whirlies and these Reedsville Rams. Reedsville 42 points a game, and they went 30 yards in the blink of an eye on the first drive. Deontay Neal back in at quarterback as Reidsville starts from the 30. Neal, quick pass. Hard hits. Eastern Alamance flying around. And the first pop from Hairston.
A little bit of both on that side of the football. You're getting down there. Eastern Alamance reads the swing pass perfectly that time. But Cobb does not go down on that first contact, and that's exactly what you expect to see from him. But Hairston, great recognition to bring the boom initially and then have the other Eagles join him to flock in on that one.
Isaiah Hairston laying the lumber in this first quarter. Hard-hitting inter-city, inter-conference matchup. 9th all-time meeting. Cobb on the ground, more pressure, and he's going nowhere fast. How about the penetration of this D-line?
Kind of seems like you can see the game plan, at least here early on for Eastern Alamance defensively. It's attack, attack, and attack. This defense is getting after it, crowding the line of scrimmage, and they're not going to let Reedsville run the football tonight. It's got to get something through the air here on third down.
And you have to block Trinity Totten if you're Reedsville.
Yes. Cut him down, whatever you got to do. You've got to get number 44 on the ground.
12th tackle for loss this year for the Eagles. Now the Rams on 3rd and 10. Neal, three-man rush. Neal wants to run. Elusive speed. And Neal is just short. We'll see the spot. Had to get to the 40. And is he yard short? What do you do here if you're Eric Teague?
Well, how good do you feel about your offense? Again, second highest scoring offense in the state right now, but containment is going to be key here tonight. Neal finds just a little bit of room, and you see even with that small amount what he's able to do.
And look at this indecision. Half the offense wants to go, half wants to stay, and the punting unit comes out. What did Eric Teague tell us this week? The best 0-3 team on tape.
Yeah.
These Eagles of Eastern. Both teams a little confused right now.
Well, they're not going to be afraid tonight, are they? I mean, we know that their mentality, they're fearless.
A Reedsville timeout to talk this over. The punter was out late. There was a lot of confusion there. And Savion Johnson was ready to punt.
Something that Reedsville has not seen yet this year. Being tested early on. Had an idea that Eastern Alamance might come in here and cause a little bit of confusion. But man, right now they've got Reedsville a little bit on the ropes here.
What's the mindset as a former player? You're 4th and 1. You've won a state title a year ago. Are you going for it offensively?
I feel like that depends on who you ask as a position group. You tell an offensive lineman 4th and 1, oh, we're running the ball, coach. That's exactly what we're doing. It almost doesn't matter where you're at on the field. Now, strategically, you put this ball back and you're playing that field position game. You put it on your defense to go out there and get a stop, but the way that Eastern Alamance handled their last drive and specifically handled that Reedsville defense, I might take a chance here.
Here's Savion Johnson, the punter. A rare stop. Keep in mind, Janiah Sharp, that up back, he is a running back for Reedsville. Never be afraid of the fake. 2 men back for the Eagles here on 4th and short. Johnson to punt. Good pressure and returnable, but a fair catch called by Penix. And it's Eastern Alamance football. Now that's a response. We noted the coin from Rebecca down low. That's a great response from Eastern.
And think about how the game starts for Eastern. You get a great return. You're feeling really good. Interception on the first play of scrimmage. And then right after that, with a great return on top of it, 35-yard drive for a score for Reedsville. Everything is going their way. Now you get a touchdown on your last drive, a stop, a 3 and out on the next possession for Reedsville. You got to be feeling pretty good if you're that Eastern Alamance sideline.
The Eagles with a touchdown from Doug Cottrell's Jr., the junior wideout. And now the Eagles right back to work from their 32-yard line. Marshall on first down feeds Samuel. Samuel slips the seam at an easy 5 yards. This O-line's starting to make movement.
They sure are. They're giving Samuel enough room to run through. Right there may have been a touchdown-saving tackle, to be completely honest with you. At that first level, the defense crashing down. The offensive line does a great job sorting everything out and giving Samuel something to work with.
This reminds me of the Michigan offensive line under Jim Harbaugh. Moving the chains, 5 yards a carry. That was a national championship team. And the running back was an All-American in the backfield as well.
Well, and basically 2 of them as well.
With Blake Corum carrying the load. Tonight, though, it's Samuel over 50 yards rushing in this first quarter. Eagles on 2nd and 5. Back to the bell cow. Samuel is churning out yards, 3 more, and 3rd and short and upcoming.
And those is one of those situations where maybe you want to see Samuel take that ball and maneuver the defense on his own a little bit. If he keeps that ball inside right there, he's not making much of an impact. Kind of look like you're going back inside, then bounce it out. You got one-on-one blocking on the outside. You had a chance for a big gain there. A little uncharacteristic for the senior back to not have the vision to recognize that.
7 carries, 25 yards for Samuel. And a 3-second difference, so Eastern will have to snap the football. Fullback in motion, Rhett Page, but wait, movement. That'll back him up 5 yards. 3rd penalty for Eastern. All 5 new offensive linemen, including Izzy Mathis, the starting left tackle, the captain. And this will run out the clock of the first quarter.
Pretty good start for those Hogs up front, though.
Big decision for Mitch Mitchner when we come back to Reedsville. 3rd down upcoming in a tight 3A, 2A matchup, our Carolina Classic Fair game of the week.
think they're switching field position. You're going to come this way now. Oh, okay. Yeah, you want me to tell you. Thank you.
We're back with tonight's winning row. Everyone on the winning row gets free tickets to the Carolina Classic Fair, October 4th through the 13th. And scan that QR code. You can get your tickets today. 10 days of awesome for the Carolina Classic Fair coming up. Mark, you and I have reservations for the fair in early October.
Sure do. Can't wait for it.
And the folks in Reedsville are pumped up for Fair Week and football. Tie game after the first quarter. 0-3 Eastern Alamance facing a reigning state champ in Reedsville. Here's 3rd and long after the penalty. Marshall feeds Samuel. Samuel stretches outside. Gets a block. Samuel down the sideline. Into Reedsville territory. No flags.
What a job blocking downfield by this wide receiver group. Samuel breaks that contain. Little leaking through the offensive line, but watch the downfield blocking by those guys up front. Hairston with a ceiling block along the edge. Give credit to your wideouts. They're down the field. They're getting their hands on defenders, and they're getting them good blocks down the field for your superstar running back.
That was a gain of 15 for a Riddle tractor first down, but wait, a flag after the play. So it negates the first down, and it sets up 3rd and medium. Oh, a late block in the back call. That was way after the play, too.
Well past the play, and at that point, you've just got to let it go. There's no point. If your running back's already well past it, you've got to let that go.
They made a whole movie about that called Frozen.
Yep.
Now 3rd and 5. Marshall. He rolls right. Marshall sidearm Mahomes-esque for the first, but a flag down again. The reception, Zeph Gaddis. Now what's this flag? Hold on a second. Jeff Davis, what do you got? Ineligible man downfield. So another flag comes in, and now it looks like an unsportsman penalty. Oh my goodness, Eastern unfolding here, Mark.
Well, already talked about the response factor of this game. The event happened as one penalty. What's your response? It cannot be to draw another flag that pushes us back even further down the field. And man, 2 first down.
And I think Mitch Mitchner has a point here, but as a player, you can't argue the call.
You just got to be safe. Understand it happened. You got to go back to work on the very next play, not let it compound on top of each other like it just did.
That's what Mitch is discussing before the 3rd down and long.
But think about also field position-wise what this does. Potentially, even if you don't pick up the first down, you're being pushed back even further now to this point where you're losing field position against an explosive offense.
So it was originally 3rd and 8, and then the unsportsman penalty. I think the refs are trying to figure out where to put the football. Because they got the first down, which was then negated. You know what, Mark? This would be fitting for Friday the 13th, right? A superstitious day full of stories. There's always something.
Yeah.
And Rebecca, we know you're on the call with some superstition. What do you got for us, Rebecca?
That's right. Speaking of superstitions, I had a chance to talk with Janiah Sharp, who told me with it being Friday the 13th, this is not something he does just Friday the 13th, but every game. he puts his cleats on in this order. Whenever he puts his cleats on, it's left first, then right, then he ties the left one, then he ties the right one, finally double knots the left one, and he does not double knot the right shoe. Of course, I had to ask him why, and he said he plays good, so why not? Keep it the same.
Rebecca, and there's Janias knocking away the pass. So the superstition works. Pass deflection, 4th down.
Yeah. Draws enough pressure there, and again, an offense that's not going to want to push the football down the field in that situation. Just has to get something there, some yards, and still can't get much of anything. Brings up 4th down.
What a challenge for Tate Young, his 17th punt of the year. And a great drive stalled by penalties. The speed of Neal and Penix ready to go for Reedsville around the 50.
And again, that field position so key here.
Oh,
they're already
Eastern
starting.
Doesn't have enough players on the field. The coach wants a timeout, and it looks like he got it granted. The line judge didn't see him. Now the timeout. This has been a quarter marred by penalties if you're Eastern.
Well, think about how clean that first quarter was of play that we had. There were no flags on the field, a couple of drives, good football being played, and now here to start the second quarter, it's taken a turn, complete in the other direction, complete 180.
It is a gorgeous night at Community Stadium, and for more on this fantastic facility, Rebecca Russell.
Well, we're down here on the Jimmy Teague field, and this team has really been able to bring this new field to life. The Panthers also helping in, and here tonight is also the local legend, Jimmy Teague. I had a chance to talk with him before the game after retirement. He just can't step away from the field, and he's here tonight. He's in the box, and somebody asked him this week when he was going to completely quit coaching, and he responded with, "When the good Lord takes me or my son fires me." By the way, guys, his retirement job is teaching driver's ed so he can pay for his golf.
Now that is a great hobby, and Jimmy's here tonight, of course, the honorary field member, as this punt is bobbled, and a short kick sets up Reedsville in great field position, and all the way inside the 40-yard line here at Jimmy Teague Field. So we'll take the timeout. Great facility, great matchup so far. All tied at 7 here on My 48. Captioning for tonight's game is brought to you by Caring Hands at Caring Hands Home Health. We do our best to make your loved ones feel like they're being taken care of by family. Following the 30-yard punt, great field position for the Reidsville Rams, who won 15 straight games. Their last loss a year ago this week to Eastern Alamance.
We were there to see it last year, here to see the last two matchups between these two Titans in this area.
So Deontay Neal in excellent field position from his 38 on 1st and 10. High snap. Good block for Cobb. Cobb stretching the O-line and turns nothing into 6 yards. That's a nice vision on the run.
It was beautifully well done that time by Cobb on the outside. Has his pulling guard go around with him that time. Follows him out in space, directs traffic, and once the defender commits one way, he darts back inside.
Jariel Cobb didn't direct traffic. He grabbed the bull by the horns and pushed the O-lineman to make the lane.
Absolutely. But that's what you got to do sometimes. Give your big guy an opportunity to make a play for you.
Cobb with 30 yards on the ground tonight. Here's 2nd and 3. Play action. Neal takes his shot. Open man. Touchdown, Reedsville. Frankie Galloway sneaks away from the defense from 30.
almost scored on their first drive of the game on a screen. This time, lost behind the defense all the way to the back. By the time that football was in the air by Deontay Neal, it was too late. What a response by Reedsville, capitalizing on prime field position.
Galloway, his second touchdown of the year, 38 yards in the blink of an eye for the Oxner and Permar touchdown. We make wrongs right, and the play action makes the wrong right there for Reedsville.
Defense bites, gets sucked up near the line of scrimmage. All you need is one man to get behind that defense. Neal locates him and cashes in with Galloway.
Garrett Barnett here with a tough snap, able to recover for the extra point, and a quick response from Reidsville. How about Reidsville? 2 plays and this bomb from 30.
Just watch the defense looking in the backfield. They freeze for a second, and that's all Galloway needs to get behind the corner and the safety, get free, and finds the end zone. Easy pitch and catch for the Reidsville Rams.
Deontay Neal is a wide receiver by trade. He now has 7 touchdown passes in 3 games.
Well, he's a wide receiver and a DB by trade, plays quarterback, also a great basketball player. You want to talk about an athlete? This is the guy you want to see in the state of North Carolina. Deontay Neal is the real deal.
You had that one waiting all week, right? The rhyme always works.
You have some loaded up, I'm not going to lie.
Stay tuned for the U.S. Army halftime report. We'll have this week's Tatum and Atkinson's athletes, interviews with the coaches, principals, and more. The U.S. Army, be that all you can be. And Reidsville has been not only the prolific state champions 23 times, they're the pinnacle of winning in this state. 5 of the last 10 years. 2A state title, and now a pooch kick from Barrett that goes out of bounds. Great field position here for the Eagles.
It's always pretty interesting, Evan, when you walk into this stadium and you see the banners that are hung up along the backside of the home grandstands. It's intimidating. Even coming in here, you think, man, there's been a lot of greatness that's happened on this field, and rightfully so, but so much of it also with that Teague name stamped right next to it. Jimmy and Eric have done a phenomenal job with what the legacy of the Reedsville Rams is, and it just continues to roll right along.
Rebecca noted Jimmy's still here every week helping out his son Eric, the head coach. What's the response for Eastern Alamance? Penalty-ridden drive led to the Reedsville score.
What'd they do on that first drive?
They went to the air quickly. Marshall pressured, somehow escapes, throws a dart, and a catch. Tyler Westbrooks near the 40. That's next level escapability.
And Merchel deserves a lot of credit there because it wasn't just escaping that pressure, senses the pocket collapsing, so he steps up. But instead of taking off, he keeps his eyes down the field, finds a man down there. That's great quarterback play for Merchel.
That's a Riddle Tractor first down. Riddle Tractor making tall grass short.
Just look at this. Feels that pressure, gets out, and keeps those eyes down the field. Very nicely done from the quarterback spot by Zach Merchel.
College coaches preach extending plays as Merchel feeds Samuel. Here's a corner blitz. Great pursuit by Corey Rhodes.
A lot of these runs so far have been very basic, just off tackle, zone running. Nothing super crazy, but some misdirection might catch his defense off guard at some point.
13 carries, 45 yards, including this run.
It's very straightforward. You're running right into a blitz that time. Great play call by Reedsville to run that one.
Defensive coordinator Doug Marks, 40 years of coaching. He knows how to dial it up. And some movement. The D lineman, Cadence Pruitt, but bit the hook.
Facing an aggressive defense, are you? Use that against them. There are going to be times where they're going to want to jump off sides, get a great jump, and see if they can get into the backfield. But
it was such an obvious penalty.
Yeah.
They didn't even say the penalty.
No.
But it was an encroachment on the defense.
And you knew it. But if you can use that aggression against them and cause them to back up, it pays a little bit of dividends both ways. That aggression goes away and you're able to capitalize.
Now from the 38, Marshall loses the snap and falls on top. A loss of 10. I don't know if that was on the quarterback or the center.
It certainly looked like it was on Zach Merchel at that time. Snap did not seem like it went haywire at all, right about the height where his hands were, right in the numbers.
Yeah, just right through the wickets.
Yep. May have been a little bit to the right, but very catchable football for Merchel.
Second time tonight, he's nearly fumbled the ball. Good vision on this Friday the 13th. Don't want to mess with the voodoo magic from midfield. 3rd and long. Low snap. Marshall runs. He has room. Now has to run for the first. And there goes Marshall. First down. The Houdini act for 20 yards.
Remember, earlier in this drive, he has the pass down the field because his eyes stay there. Almost a carbon copy at the start, but this time he tucks it, runs, breaks that one tackle, and shows off the wheels to pick up the first down.
How about Zach Marshall, the escapability twice tonight on the same drive. College scouts will love that from the quarterback at any level. Here's a first down handoff. Samuel, big hole up the middle. Samuel versus 5 defenders, advantage Samuel, and that hard-earned running is important tonight as the helmet comes off.
Keeping those legs churning, getting upfield, and taking on defenders. Tyreek Samuel, he's a joy to watch run the football.
Tyreek Samuel, we mentioned Blake Corum tonight, but he is a hard-earned, powerful machine.
Runs really well behind those pads, has great vision, great speed, but he's a sneaky good power runner as well. All that speed comes into play with that. Definitely can lower the boom a little bit when he needs to.
Sets up 2nd and short. Play action. Marshall can run. He throws, and a drop through the hands with a flag coming in. Tough drop there for the slot receiver.
Hairston did the right thing. Was tied up with the defender, but gets off of him, scramble drill.
Mark, help me out that. I didn't see an ineligible man downfield.
And unless it was a lineman, but that certainly wasn't a run-pass option where maybe there's some gray area. The second time we've seen that call against Eastern Alamance so far here tonight. If that's the case, these linemen got to recognize where they're at on the field and not go so far down.
And that's the balance we see in the pro game with a Mahomes or a Josh Allen.
Right.
Your linemen have to be within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely. You start venturing too far down the field, they're going to flag you every single time.
It's the risk reward of a mobile quarterback. 2nd and 10. Marshall moving one more time. Off his back foot, nearly picked. Overshot his target, and it's 3rd and long.
I don't know if he was looking for Rodgers to come back inside. It just seemed like they're on the same page. And you could tell Marshall is very used and very comfortable to making these off-schedule throws down the field. Extends the play. He's relying on his receivers to then get open on those scramble drills. That time it did not work out.
Marshall 5 of 8 passing with a pick tonight here from the 30. Play action. Marshall. Now he runs. A lob pass. Oh, hold on. Knocked away. Trying to pull off a Houdini act. Deontay Neal knocks it down.
You talk about a dangerous throw. I mean, that is a lollipop into the secondary. And for all the good plays that we've seen Marshall make tonight, he has not been able to do it consistently so far.
Marshall's playing for his life on every snap. And now going for it on 4th and 10. Out of field goal range for Logan Grimshaw. Here's 4th and 10. 4-man rush. Marshall time. Deep shot. Not even close. Incomplete. And Reidsville, good field position.
Well, I know Neal is wincing at not able to pick another football off, but this time, great field position down the field. Reidsville takes over.
Welcome back to Reedsville. Stay tuned for the U.S. Army halftime report. We'll have this week's Tatum and Atkinson Scholar athletes, interviews, and more. The U.S. Army, be all that you can be. Deontay Neal hands it off on the ground, and a nice start to the drive for Reedsville, gaining 5. Rebecca with more on Deontay Neal.
Spoke with Deontay Neal this week. He told me it's definitely been a new experience this year, switching from receiver to quarterback. And I know what everybody on the offensive line is doing, and he says, I'm liking it so far. I asked him where he's grown the most, and he said he's getting more comfortable staying in the pocket, reading defenses, and knowing when people are blitzing. He said he's finally starting to settle into his new role after not preparing much for his new role at quarterback this offseason. But he said he's happy wherever coaches need him to be.
A great point is Cobb gets the handoff forward for a first down. Neal was a former receiver, hadn't played quarterback since middle school, but tonight, Mark, what have you liked?
Well, he's done really well at controlling the football game and not making a big mistake, and also taking advantage of what the defense has shown him. Long touchdown pass on the last drive to Galloway, so he's taking advantage of what is there so far. We haven't seen a ton just yet of his playmaking ability as Reedsville's kept it on the ground, but a lot of what he does is based on his athleticism. He's done well so far.
A perfect 4 for 4 passing now from the 41. Neal shows off the legs. Now the cannon. Deep shot. A bit long. Wanted Demarion Whitted, the track standout.
Real tough throw down the sideline. You got your wide receiver coming all the way across the field. Just cannot get there. Trying to float it up over the top on the run, and that's a tough throw going along that sideline, just a little too much on it.
And that throw across the body is so difficult.
Yeah, especially when you're fading back to the left. That ball tends to carry more that way as well.
Brett Favre of the 90s spoiled us. The Green Bay Packers throwing those darts across his body.
Absolute gunslinger, man.
Here's Deontay Neal, the converted wide receiver on 2nd and 10. Feeds the ground game. Cobb bounces out. Great pursuit and a shoestring tackle.
I'm loving defense-wise against the run what Eastern Alamance has done so far. They're stringing Cobb out and keeping him close to the line of scrimmage. Here you go. He's bouncing. He can't stay on his track, and you're allowing your defense to catch up to him and flock to the ball carrier to make plays.
That's the emotional Captain Chambliss at safety. Missed last week with an ankle injury. 3rd and long. Neal rolls right. Neal heaves it deep. Whitted can't get there. Another deep shot. 2 incompletions and a punt.
And those are the plays as the season goes on that Deontay Neal is going to have to hit, but those are tough to make down the field. He's on the run and finds his receiver down there and shows off the arm strength, but he needs to pull back just a little bit.
Does it not feel like Deontay Neal watched a ton of Caleb Williams tape at USC?
Just trying to chuck it down there a little bit. I think maybe he looks a little more stable than Caleb Williams on a lot of those plays, but the arm talent is certainly there. You can see it. The accuracy is also there. Just bring that football back a little bit. Give your receiver a chance to go make a play.
Savion Johnson holds. Wait. Oh, the ball's ruled dead. On the snap, his knee hit the ground.
Wow.
So Eastern gets the ball right there. Oh, Savion.
Oh, wow.
Good pickup by Jeff Davis, the official. Wow, so the punt is a loss of 8.
That is huge. Not just a loss of 8, but it's at the 27, 26-yard line of Reedsville at that.
Now watch this. Look at that knee.
It's down.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great call by this officiating crew. Man, oh, man. And that's tough because you're trying to just pick that football up off the turf and you don't think anything of it.
Merchel feeds the tailback. Samuel, huge hole, and now the momentum back on the Eagles side.
See how that speed comes into play and it turns into power. When you're running inside those tackles, you get that burst going forward. Defenders are almost flat-footed a lot of the time when they're trying to come get you. So that gives you an opportunity to use that momentum, carry yourself forward. Samuel does it there. Great run on first down.
5 yards of carry for Samuel tonight, a 3,000-yard career rusher. Eastern's last 2 drives held up by penalties.
Got to cash in here.
2nd and medium. Samuel cuts outside. He gets 1. It's 3rd and short.
These wide receivers for Eastern Alamance, who's going to make that play tonight? Who's going to get separation when this offense needs it the most, when they go in the air. They've got weapons along the outside. Cottrell's already has the touchdown. We've seen Harrison multiple times, Rogers as well.
Keep an eye on the escapability of Murchell. He's been really good out of the pocket. 3rd and 4. Murchell, heat in his face, incomplete. Wanted Cottrell's, and a 4th down decision.
A couple different times tonight, these wide receivers have not been on the same page with their quarterback, Zach Murchell. Not able to hook up because they are not settling down in the same area. Murchell thinks that route settles down about a yard after where Cottrell's had actually gone to.
Murchell 5 of 11 tonight, has missed some open throws, and now his biggest on the red zone. Fourth and 4. Checks the play clock at 3. And a timeout. Eastern to talk this over. You're right on the edge of field goal range if you're Logan Grimshaw. His career long's 35. You also want the points if you're Eastern.
You're kind of straddling that line between, do you take the points, try to get the 3 on the board and make this a 4-point ball game, or do you realize where you are right now? The realization is Eastern Alamance is 0-3 on their season so far. So at some point they've got to start stringing together some wins, and this would be a huge one to do that. So are you in the position where you're playing to win or to not lose?
And Mitch Mitcher said all week, when our offense starts clicking, our team is so much better. Injuries to Samuel last week. Well, they've been running the ball well, but need 4 yards here.
Well, it's a team that plays really well once that offense keeps going because that defense is rested, because the offense is able to wear the other defense down. It works well, but they haven't been able to find that rhythm and consistency here yet tonight.
Offense stays on the field for the first-year head coach. Zach Murchell, the Keanu Reeves from replacements, getting the job done as a first-year starter. Here's 4th and 4. Murchell to Samuel. Has a block. Samuel turns. First down, Eagles. That's a heck of a run.
That's an impressive run, isn't it? That kid is amazing in the backfield. Dead to rights, it almost seemed like this defense knew where that football was going to. Doesn't matter, breaks a tackle, and this is all Tyreek Samuel. Takes on a linebacker, sheds the tackle long enough to fall forward and pick up the first down on a massive 4th down attempt.
He told Jacob Riddle to get off me and lands at the 12. Riddle tractor first down, now in the red zone. 1st and 10. Samuel again, much tougher sledding. Gets a yard in the Cook Reynolds red zone. Good pursuit by Reidsville.
Stuffed up around the line of scrimmage. Again, you get closer to that goal line, the field shrinks down, so the defense has less to cover. Those runs become more and more impactful. This is where big boy football comes into play. Your guys up front need to start steamrolling defenders to get this football in the end zone if you're insistent on keeping it on the ground.
After the fumble punt, Eastern Alamance from the 12. Murchell, play action, dodges, fumble, and a flag. Hold on. What's the penalty, and who has the football? Eastern has the football.
Sure seemed like Pruitt got that football initially.
Okay, no flag. Wow, talking about a heart attack. So now it's 3rd and forever.
Wow, Pruitt's looking around like he recovered that fumble, and from our vantage point, it sure seemed like
not get the football. Here's how. Oh my gosh, Murchell
just dropped it.
And then he won the game of tug-of-war, I guess.
I don't see, how is that, what?
Whoa, thievery. So 3rd and long.
He's down.
Play action. Toss to the sticks. Knocked out of bounds, so it's 4th and 10. Now you got to play for points, right, if you're Eastern? On the catch from Westbrooks.
And here comes the field goal unit.
Wow, that fumble changes the whole drive.
I'm telling you, Evan, that was recovered by Reedsville. I mean, Pruitt had that football in his possession with his knee down.
Unless the ruling is on the back of the quarterback and never fully down. but it's hard to tell.
Man. But if you are Eastern Alamance, that's a massive break.
How about Logan Grimshaw from 31? Grimshaw needs some distance. Doesn't have it. And no points. That's a huge stop for Reedsville defensively.
Devastating for the Eagles. And a sigh of relief for that Reedsville sideline after the near disastrous punt attempt. Your defense stiffens up enough to draw that field goal unit out, and they just cannot get it to go over that crossbar.
So watch this. Right, Pruitt has the ball there.
And he's got possession. And his knee is certainly down.
And he's celebrating. And then the old dipsy-do. I'll take that.
I don't see how there's any way that is not Reedsville's football.
To me, that's a dead ball right there.
Yeah. And the crazier thing to me is the official is on that side where Pruitt is. So he's got a clear vantage point.
Thankfully for Reidsville, no points come out of it. Now Neal back to work on the missed field goal. Cobb stretches outside. And Cobb glides near the 30. A quick 7 yards.
Just couldn't keep his foot there. Or his footing, excuse me.
How do you capitalize on this turnover if you're Reidsville?
Well, you got to run the football here. You got your 3-minute offense going into this drive. Run it where you can, but you got to understand you got to start taking shots down the field.
Now 2nd and 3. Here's the shot. Sharp the screen. Juke goes nowhere. Nice tackle in open space.
All in the same space, though. Nothing productive there. Again, these Eagles are storming to the football in groups right now, and they are getting after these receivers.
That's Dalen Ford, the backup corner, on the stop. Neither team taking advantage of penalties and turnovers tonight.
Right. It's been a half of missed opportunities on both sides.
So 3rd and 5. Under 2 minutes in the half. Neal working the clock. Not a huge urgency on 3rd down. Neal, play action. Here's the blitz. Off of one. Jukes another. Michael Vick-esque. Another spin. And he has it. Deontay Neal, the magic man.
Now you see me, now you don't. Watch Neal just field this defense where the pressure is coming from. And this is all number 1 in Navy and gold. Just making those plays, making men miss, and getting upfield for the first.
College scouts have their eye on Deontay Neal. Big time play. Now he feeds Cobb. There's a hold, not called. And a hard hit at the 30. Nice shot from Jakari Penix on the tackle.
Hairston there yet again.
Hairston, great point.
Boy, these DBs, these linebackers, this entire defense of Eastern Alamance has come to play here tonight. They are not backing down from Reedsville, matching them step for step.
Under a minute left. Where's the urgency from Neal? He's waiting for a play call.
And still 2 timeouts.
From the 30. Neal. Blitz. Can he do it again? Incomplete. And clock stops. There is a flag on the field. Oh, it's on the far side of the field.
Yeah, just outside the 30-yard marker.
One thing, if I'm offensive coordinator Eric Teague at halftime, I'm working on blocking. The pass protection's not been great.
No, it's been very leaky and not something you expect out of this Reedsville offense. They have not been able to get that protection up front, allowing Neal to sit back there, survey the field, and find guys down the field.
Mark, he's sitting back there like a hibachi chef in an all-inclusive restaurant. He is dishing and diming plays out of nothing.
He sure is. The only thing is he's going to start running out of things to serve if this offensive line doesn't give him some protection.
Neal's been scrambling for his life. 7 rushes for the quarterback.
Last week he only had 1.
43 seconds left. Cobb on the ground. He does get the first, so the clock, oh no, sorry. He's got a long way to go to the 35. And let's see, timeout Eastern Alamance on 3rd and long. Wait, now the clock runs. Okay, this is confusing. We have a lost helmet. Now we have a timeout. You see it all in high school football.
Sure do.
The clock stopped for a lost helmet. Then the timeout was called. So 36 seconds. What's the game plan here if you're Reedsville?
I'm not sure. I'll be honest with you, Evan, because you think
there hasn't been urgency on the drive.
Well, there hasn't been, because this drive started back around the 20, and that was with close to 3 minutes still left in this quarter. Now we're down to 36 seconds. So they haven't used these timeouts. They haven't been able to move the ball at all. Kind of wonder what the strategy is here, other than throw it up there, chuck it down the field, and see what happens.
A Reidsville offense that the first 2 weeks, Eric Teague noted we were out of sync offensively. Well, last week, not the case. A 50-burger. Tonight, though, a lot more trouble.
Not able to find the consistency. Now, some of that has been because of what this Eastern Alamance defense has brought to the table. They've been matched them step for step. They've been physical with them up front. They have not allowed them to be comfortable.
And this pass rush of Eastern Alamance, electric. Final 36 seconds of the half. Neal, pressured. Neal throws short. Ooh, it's just incomplete. Through the hands of Cam Jones.
Well, Jones was set up right there in the middle of the field. Neal recognized that he's wide open and throws back across his body. Usually not a smart decision, but there's no one around Jones, just not an accurate throw, and Jones slips and falls on that brand new turf.
So the punt unit comes out. And now Eastern, with no timeouts, has a little bit of time. Fourth punt for Reidsville. It's the most in a game all year. We're in the first half. 2 return men back for the Eagles, including the speedster Hairston. Low kick. And now 20 seconds left from the 38. You're 2 plays away from a field goal. We did see a miss from 31 tonight. Clock does stop on first downs in the high school game. And what does the Magic Man have in his back pocket? Mitch Mitchner.
Again, no timeouts, so even from the 38, you've got to have a quick striking play here, and everyone, if it hits, is hustling down the field to stop that clock with the spike.
First down, electing not to pursue the clock.
Or just take it into the half.
And a 7-point game between a reigning state champ and an 0-3 Eastern Alamance. The Eagles are content going to halftime. 2 missed drives from Eastern. Otherwise, this game could be tied. And that sets us up 7 points at the break.
And a couple of missed opportunities for Reedsville as well. So again, a missed half, or a first half of missed opportunities for both sides of this matchup so far.
Now we go down to the sideline with Rebecca and Coach T.
Well, Coach, you told us this week that Eastern Alamance may be the best 0-3 team on tape. What are your takeaways so far this first half for your team?
Yeah, that definitely wasn't a lot. I mean, they got a lot of good players. They're a good football team. They're playing good defense right now. They're holding our rushing game. Can't really get anything breaking loose. And then we've missed a couple things. We hit a couple things, and then so we've been really inconsistent. And they're containing our run game right now. So we're hoping to break something loose in the second half.
4 punts here in the first half. How do you find that consistency on offense to continue?
We got to find some success on the run game to open up some of the other stuff, and then we've had some passes open that we've overthrown a couple times, and then we get ourselves in 3rd and long, 3rd and 7, and we just can't convert, and that puts the punt team out there. So we got to get the run game going a little bit better, and then we got to find some seams, and then we got to convert on 3rd down.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, that's the U.S. Army halftime report coming up right after this with interviews from our principals here tonight. Highlights and more. Stay with us. You're watching the Carolina Classic Fair. Friday night rivals 14-7 our score. Reedsville Rams over Eastern Alamance.
This year's halftime show is brought to you once again by McElwain and Harris Funeral Home in Reedsville. Thank you, Mr. Gerald A. Harris, for serving our community and continuing to support our youth. Mr. Drum Major Jackson Walker, Assistant Drum Major Kristen Knighton, Drum Captain Kendrick Blue, Auxiliary Coach Ayanna Roach, Assistant Auxiliary Coach Amara Freyu, Percussion Instructor David Callins, and Director of the Bands Eric Callins. In the stone fanfare by Earth, Wind, and
I got you.
Throughout the 2024 Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Friday Night Rivals season, Tatum and Atkinson Law Firm will recognize an exceptional senior student athlete from each participating school with a plaque presentation prior to each game. This week's Tatum and Atkinson Scholar athletes are from Reedsville High School, Jareel Cobb. Reedsville's Jareel Cobb is a two-time 2A Mid-State All-Conference football player and an All-Area State champ. He received over 14 offers before committing to the United States Air Force Academy. Jareel currently holds a 4.4 grade point average and in his spare time enjoys volunteering at his church and local elementary schools in the area. And from Eastern Alamance High School, Caitlin Mason. Eastern Alamance's Caitlin Mason is an academic all-conference in golf, soccer, and swim and was invited to the NCHSAA 2024 Leadership Conference. Caitlin is in the National Honor Society, on Student Council, the Key Club Vice President, and she is the top 10 of her senior class. In her spare time, Caitlin volunteers at Pause Forever Adoption Center and participates in her church youth group and youth choir. Jareel, Caitlin, and other nominated students are also eligible to win a $5,000 scholarship to be presented at the end of the season. Congratulations to our Tatum and Atkinson Scholar Athletes of the Week, sponsored by Tatum and Atkinson. Injured in a car wreck? Call the heavy hitters.
Congratulations to our Scholar athletes. Well, welcome to the U.S. Army Halftime Report. Be all that you can be. We're down here on the Jimmy Teague Field at Community Stadium with Reedsville Rams Principal Erica Blackwell. Thanks so much for being here. We've got the band in the background. You're winning 14-7. You're just coming off a championship. What is that feeling like for this school?
Well, we are always very excited about the championships that we've earned, but we do recognize that this is a new year, it's a new competition. There are some spots that had to be filled from the class of 2024 that have left, so we're taking every game seriously. We're preparing for every competition, and we're going to leave our best on the field.
And speaking of this field, a brand new field, it looks beautiful. Jimmy Teague, I talked with him earlier, says he loves the way it turned out. What can you tell us about how beautiful this field is?
I can tell you this field is not only special to us, but this is a community field. This field was made possible through the Carolina Panthers, our city managers, of course, our school board, a lot of private vendors, Lowe's Home Improvement. So this is a community effort. The community's here under the lights every Friday night. So we're going to enjoy this for years to come.
At Community Stadium, how fitting. Well, we're in the month of September. School has just started recently. What is your hopes for your students and your student athletes this year?
Awesome. Well, my hopes for my students and student athletes is that they will be pursuers of whatever it is that they want to do, whether it's on the field, in the classroom. And when they leave me, I want to make sure they're choice ready. They're ready for college. They're ready for military, they're ready for employment. So I want them to take every opportunity that we have and go out and show everyone how great we already know they are.
Well, we love hearing that. Thank you so much for your time. That's Principal Erica Blackwell with the Reedsville Rams. When we return, we'll have the principal for Eastern Alamance, Suzanne Simpson. Stay with us. It's the U.S. Army Halftime Report.
It's a beautiful night here in Reedsville. A beautiful Friday night football weather for us, and we're down here on the field with Suzanne Simpson, the principal for Eastern Alamance. And you've been at Eastern for 2 years now, but we've got a new head coach, we've got a new AD. What is this new era for the Eagles like?
I mean, obviously we miss Coach Kirby. He was there for 39 years and he was part of the community before that, but I'm just really excited to see the direction Coach Vishner's taking the boys in and seeing what Coach Costa's doing, and looking forward to writing this new chapter as we go.
And that new chapter involves a new press box for your football field as well. What can you tell us about the progress for something else that's new?
So it's fantastic. It's open. It's usable. It's nice to be out of the temporary spaces. I can't thank Senator Galey, our county commissioners, our school board enough for giving the funds so that we could get something that's really nice and usable and really represents our community well.
Well, we look forward to seeing it. Thank you so much for your time, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
That's Suzanne Simpson, principal for Eastern Alamance. Well, next up, we've got an interview with the U.S. Army. Earlier this week, we talked with the U.S. Army Company Commander, Marcus Brown. Let's take a look.
My educational journey in the Army has been fantastic. So receiving my undergraduate degree as well as my master's. My MOS is similar to UPS. If it fits, it ships. I'm a logistician by trade. As a reservist, the Army will set you apart. You can learn skills and get certifications through the Army that you can use in your everyday occupation. So the healthcare perks are amazing. Absolutely no co-pays, so that's no money out of your pocket.
On me. We welcome you back to Community Stadium. Now let's take a look at the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services medical game plan.
The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is proud to present you with this medical game plan.
It's important to be able to talk to someone who understands and can relate to you when you need help. The 988 crisis counselors provide specialized support to meet the needs of people from different cultures and backgrounds. There are Spanish-speaking crisis counselors who answer calls, texts, and chats. People who are deaf or hard of hearing can dial 711 and then 988 for help. LGBTQ+ trained counselors are available to support our LGBTQ+ youth and adults under 25. And counselors also have specific information and resources to support mental health in communities of color. Teens face a lot of pressures and stressors today, and it's important for teens and their families to know that it's okay to not be okay sometimes. We know reaching out for help can be scary, but importantly, it's incredibly brave. You are not alone. Anyone can access confidential crisis or emergency services for mental health, substance use disorders, or other emotional distress with a call, text, or chat to 988 anytime, 24/7, 365.
This medical game plan is brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. The 988 Lifeline is open to anyone struggling with suicidal thoughts, substance use, or any kind of mental health crisis. You can call, text, or chat 988 for free, 24/7, for live support in both English and Spanish. People can also reach out if they're worried about a loved one who may need help. The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is proud to present you with this medical game plan.
It's the U.S. Army halftime report. Welcome back down on the field now, joined by the Carolina Classic Fair's own Robert Mulhern. First of all, when is the fair, and what can we expect to see from the fair?
The fair is October 4th through 13th. You can expect 10 days of awesome. We're excited to have it in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And we'll feature a lot of great savings, a lot of great family events, a lot of good things to come.
Something else that's awesome that's taking place right behind us. What can you tell us about this contest going on right here?
Well, we want to bring the fair wherever we go, so we've got Brian and Mackenzie stacking pretzels on their head. We're excited to see who can win. They're both seniors from Reedsville High, and so enjoy that show behind us.
And why is it important for the fairgrounds and Carolina Classic Fair to support high school football?
We're just excited to be able to bring this kind of energy and event to the air. We're glad to be a partner with ABC 45 and My 48 and really partner with these high schools to get into the community.
Well, looks like we've got our winner here. Thanks so much for taking part in this contest, and thanks for being part. This is Carolina Classic Fair, Robert Mulhern.
Thank you.
Guys, we'll send it back up to the booth. You guys got some pretzels up there.
We got pretzels, we got dinos, we got all the fun. And we had some good chicken at halftime.
Where
as
are
well.
the pretzels at?
How about some halftime numbers from an entertaining first half? Certainly marked the running game of Eastern Alamance a huge difference.
Absolutely, and we talked about it going into this one, was how was Eastern Alamance going to stay in this football game? Had to be Loctite defense, had to be running the football. It's hard-nosed attack. Tyreek Samuel and the guys up front have done a good enough job in the first half to hang in with this one going into half number 2.
And then Devontae Neal, 70 total yards. He's created the 2 touchdowns.
It's been a lot of him acting, where the offensive line for Eastern Alamance has been better than we kind of thought coming into this one. Reedsville, not so much. They've had some issue with the pressure that Eastern Alamance has brought. It's caused some confusion up front, and it's not really given Neal the time to sit back, survey the field. He's had to make some plays on his own with his legs.
That leads to a 1-touchdown game. Certainly an early start offensively for Reedsville, the 2 scores, but Eastern, a couple of self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah, and again, we talked about it as well. The first half being one of missed opportunity, a little mysterious with how each team didn't really find any rhythm in the first half. Look for that to change, at least on one side here going into half number 2.
We'll take the timeout, come back for the second half here in a 1-touchdown game. Plenty more from Reedsville when we return.
Welcome back to the Carolina Classic Fair. Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week. We're now joined by Eastern Alamance head coach, your first year as head coach, your first interview, Coach Mitch Mitchner. Reedsville got on the board early. What did you like about the way that your team has been able to respond, as response is a big thing for you this year?
Yeah, we had a good positive response coming out of that second part of the first quarter and into the second quarter. We've been talking about all week, controlling what we can control, focus on Eastern Alamance, and just really honing in on what positive response means and taking care of the small things. So we kind of shot ourselves in the foot a little bit a couple of times on offense and defense, but we're trying to clean that up and continue to have a positive response.
And one of the things you mentioned this week is being able to finish drives, both offensively and defensively. What adjustments would you like to see from your guys to be able to finish those drives?
Just going back to what we were talking about in that first question, it's controlling us, not worrying about what the opponent's doing or what's going on, knowing what we have to do, knowing what our assignment is, and finishing going all the way until the whistle blows.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Thank you.
Guys?
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Coach, who now sprints across the field for kickoff. Mark, now Reidsville with a prime opportunity. They get the ball first, and I'm curious, after a tough first half, how the Rams respond out of the break.
Well, the issues that they've had up front against that against that defensive line, have been well documented through half number one. Now going into the second half, what can you do to allow this offense to open up a little bit more? Maybe it's getting Neal and those receivers out on the edge a little bit, getting them outside the pocket and allowing that athleticism to take over. We're going to find out here as they're going to start the second drive with the ball in their hand, or the second half with the ball in their hands.
Reidsville, a top 20 team in the entire state. No team in 2A football better the last 3 years. And Eastern Alamance at 0-3, looking to play spoiler tonight. Just a one-score game at the break. First time Tate Young has come in for the kickoff duties. And we're underway. Second half begins with a fair catch from the 33. Good field position for Reidsville. Deontay Neal in that first half started 4 for 4, but had trouble with pass protection late in the quarter.
Just was running around way too much. If you are that Reidsville sideline to be comfortable with, Coach Teague understands that his quarterback is dynamic athletically, but you have to have him take those shots down the field, get the ball in the air to his receivers if you want this offense to be successful while also running the football.
Head coach and offensive coordinator Eric Teague noted finishing drives at halftime with Rebecca. Let's see if they can do it here. Reidsville's not played a one-score game since the Eastern Alamance contest a year ago this week. First play of the second half is a handoff. Not much cooking on the ground game. That's 3 yards for Jariel Cobb.
Really long play that time to only get about 3, maybe 4 on first down. Nevertheless, it's still 4 yards. And while they're scratching and fighting to get those 4 yards, it's still 4 yards nonetheless.
Averaged 5 yards a carry on the first half, and the tackle there from one of the linebackers, Jamari Stump. It's more like a 5-2 defense. 2 linebackers always blitzing. Neal on second down. Quick sprint. Neal has speed. Elects to throw. Finds a receiver. First down. That's Janiah Sharp inside the 35.
Well, there you go. There's getting outside the pocket and breaking down this defense. Those receivers continue to find ways to get themselves open down the field. Neal keeps his eyes open. Nice play that time to Sharp to find his receiver deep down the field and into.
And Mark, how about Reidsville using the speed of the quarterback to set up the pass?
But that's got to be what they need to do here in half number 2. If you understand that you're having troubles up front, especially within the interior of that offensive line, get your quarterback out of harm's way by getting him outside the pocket.
6th completion for Neal, who's a former wide receiver offensively. Only his 3rd game at quarterback. From the 35. Quick toss. Cobb, juke. Cobb truck stick to the 30. He's causing problems for this secondary.
Well, we knew he was a all-utility kind of guy, especially out on the edge. If you put him in one-on-one matchups, it's enticing offensively for Reidsville. Get him into those situations where he has space to work with. See right here, right there, puts one move on, finishes the run hard as well.
Quick tempo for Eric Teague at a halftime. 2nd and 5. Cobb sprints again, finds a seam. Quick toss inside the 10. Jones to the 4, making things happen on a 26-yard play.
How about the fake inside that time? Think he's just going to sit back there. Neal senses it, goes right back outside. Jones follows him the whole way across the field. They hook up yet again. Look at this. Neal eyes down the field. Nice, easy toss.
Cam Jones playing a huge tight end spot. Kendra Harrison, the Max Preps Player of the Year, moved on to another program. This is his year at tight end.
And Jones is a very interesting kind of prospect, right? Guy that you'll see in the slot at that tight end spot. Too big for some of the linebackers and too quick for some of these DBs.
First and goal. Here's Cobb again. Hard run. And he's stonewalled at the 2. Brought down by Stump on the secondary in the Cook Reynolds red zone.
Again, just not much push up through the center of that defense. Defensive front in the teeth of it right now for Eastern Alamance. They are earning their work here tonight. They are getting after it and not allowing much in the middle.
First drive of the second half for Reedsville. Marching on the door. Second and goal. Neal. QB run. Touchdown, Deontay Neal. The mobility of Neal, the difference on the Oxnard and Permar touchdown.
The ability, the agility, the vision, and then the will to win. All on display there. Get him outside the pocket yet again. The design quarterback run. Blockers out in front. Sees a crease. Sees a touchdown. Reedsville back in the end zone.
There was an Eastern player with their helmet off. That's why he exited. CJ Chambliss was forced to leave for a play. And now the extra point coming. After 6 plays, 66 yards. And like Leighton McQueen getting his kicks on Route 66. Neal is that electric as he calls the audible for the full extra point. Gotta love high school football. He's the quarterback, he's the snapper, he's the safety.
Mr. All Everything.
Now the hold this time, good hands. And that one shot out of the cannon. Quick touchdown for Reedsville out of the break. One of the best teams in 2A football, riding the dual athlete for a 2-touchdown lead.
This week about what his favorite was, playing football or basketball. And he said, well, Rebecca, I took my first steps as a kid on the Reedsville Rams basketball court. His dad played basketball for the Rams, and then when Deontay was born, he was an assistant coach. So one day at practice, Deontay went from crawling to taking his first steps on the court. Now, his father didn't play football and always loved basketball, so growing up, Deontay's first sport was basketball, and then picked up football at the rec level. So he loves both, and he would love to play both at the next level.
Well, Rebecca, he's a state champion in both football and basketball.
Yep.
And he also is tied for the interception career lead at Reedsville. 16 picks for those Mitts.
Almost had the record breaker in the first half. See if he has an opportunity to bait a throw into maybe another one.
I imagine Eastern will be throwing the football here. 1st and 10 from the 25. Samuel on the ground, stonewalled by Jaquez Tynes.
You got to think one of the conversations at halftime for this coaching staff, that Reedsville locker room, was challenging both lines. Offensively, are we going to open up running lanes? And defensively, are we going to shut them down? If that's the way the defense plays here for the rest of the second half, it's going to force this Eastern Alamance offense to put the ball in the air. And so far, that has been a hit-or-miss kind of situation for the Eagles.
Last week, Reedsville 7 tackles for loss. More of that in the second half. Merchel out of the pocket, dodges one. Merchel escapes, throws deep. Ooh, a bobble. Neal the Did he stay in bounds? No, rolled incomplete. Nearly a record-breaking 17th pick, and I want to see that again.
Very close on that sideline.
Okay, watch the feet of number 1.
How about the carom off the helmet?
Oh, hold on. He tipped it back.
Oh, no, I see. See, right.
Oh, because 6 is technically out of bounds.
Oh, he tipped it, yeah.
Since 6 was out of bounds. Here's 3rd and long. Screen route, Cottrell's. Slips 1. Nice block. And Cottrell's will gain 5 with a flag. This is coming back. Is that a block in the back?
I don't know if it's a block in the back, but I don't know if they consider that technically like a blindside block.
Is that a targeting, technically? I know by the letter of the law that's a penalty, but the players saw each other heads up. Waiting on the ruling here from Jeffrey Davis. Wow. Okay, Jeffrey, what do you got for us? Come on, Jeffrey. No, we got 2 different calls here. Dominic Frost sending thoughts. Oh, offensive face mask. Okay. Which I would assume you decline the penalty.
At this point in the game, yeah. It's only a 14-point game. I can't imagine Eastern Alamance trying to take a chance.
You don't want to give them one more play.
Right.
Reedsville. Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Coach T's like, no. I don't want that penalty. Here comes the punting unit. Early in the season for all of us tonight, including the officials.
Just a little bit of some confusion. The last 2 plays, really. The near interception along the sideline and then trying to sort out the penalty there.
Tate Young on the punt. This kick needs a bounce. Uh-oh. Picked up at the 45. Broken tackle. And Jakari Penix out near midfield. Now, if you're Reidsville, this is a chance to break this game open.
It's really a chance to put this game almost in a stranglehold. You see a little bit on your screen there. The rain has started to come down a little bit here, misting just enough where you have to start thinking about ball security, holding on to that football, especially running. The one fortuitous part here is obviously with it being a turf field, you don't have a lot of the elements coming into play from the field itself, but you still have to hang on to that football.
It's been Eastern with the fumble issues.
Right.
They've recovered all 3, but that rain starts to pick up. On Friday the 13th, who would have thought? Deontay Neal right at midfield on 1st down. Neal, the keeper. There's a hole. Neal, adios! Touchdown, Reedsville! He's a good luck charm for the Rams in a 50-yard score.
He can throw it and he can run it. What a scamper for Deontay Neal. Senses where that defense is and hits that hole with the speed of a cheetah, breaking through into the night rain and splits the 2 DBs. What a play.
51 officially for number 1. Who needs Mother Nature? I'll just run it right up the middle.
Well, don't have to worry about ball security if your drives only go 1 play and you score.
Well, that's efficient.
I'm telling you, this kid is unreal.
Now the extra point with the elements of factor. And that one's good. All of a sudden, a 3-score game here in Reedsville. The reigning state champs back to their offensive prowess on our My 48 game of the week. Welcome back to Reedsville. Coming up in the fourth quarter, stay tuned to find out who's tonight's Carolina Classic Fair Player of the Game. The Carolina Classic Fair, 10 days of awesome. And in the fourth, My 48's Play of the Game. My 48 Sports, your home for local sports. Something tells me number one in the blue is in line for some awards tonight. Here's the short kick after back-to-back touchdowns and another out of bounds. Good field position for Eastern Alamance. How do you capitalize on this drive if you're the Eagles?
You got to score, and that's plain simple on this one. This game has gotten away. 2 drives for the Reedsville Rams here in half number 2, 2 touchdowns, and you have to respond if you are this Eastern Alamance offense. Come back out on the field, execute, and the 1 touchdown drive they had in the first half, they were effective, they were efficient, running the football. The short passing game was working. They've got to get back to that if they want to sustain a drive here.
And now with nature an element and the quarterback losing the football, he's got to be real secure from the 35. Marshall feeds Samuel. That's a nice hole. Samuel plus territory. One play explosive. Touchdown, Eastern Alamance. Well, there's the solution from 65.
Anything you can do, I can do better. This Reedsville offense sees, Eastern Alamance offense sees Reedsville go down the field 1 play, 51 yards, fine. Tyreek Samuel puts this one on his back, explodes through the middle of the field, and there was not a Ram that had a chance of catching him.
And that extra point sneaks through. So now it's a 2-score game, and here comes Tyreek Samuel up to 126 on the ground. And he's rocking the cradle.
Effect plus response equals outcome. The effect is you're down 21. The response, a house call from your side of the field. The outcome, 14-point ball game. Great job up front.
Movement.
Yep. Spread the field out. The formation helps with that one. The O-line does its job. And you get 30 in the open field like that, and more often than not.
You beat number 1. How about Rebecca Russell with more?
I talked with Eastern Alamance's C.J. Chambliss this week about Tyreek Samuel. Excuse me. He said he's patient and explosive at the same time. I said, how can he be patient and explosive all at the same time? And he told me because once he gets the handoff, he waits and sees a hole open or waits until the play develops to hit the hole. And when he does, he just takes off with so much speed and it's hard to catch him. I think we just saw that, guys.
There's cheetah speed with Tyreek Hill, the Dolphins, and then there's Tyreek Samuel speed. He went 0 to 60 real fast.
It's unbelievable.
Now an onside kick. Hold on. Scooped up by Reidsville. Little surprise. That one scooped out. Good recovery from Luke Gengler, the center. You can't onside kick to the center. That guy holds the football every play.
Yeah. Got to have the best hands on the field, right? Has his hands on the football every single play on offense. Tried to catch this defense sleeping a little bit, but give him credit.
Wow, and that pursuit of Jared Newell, he was right there in case of the fumble. Mark, what position did you play on the O-line?
Center and
you
guard.
Touched the ball at center a little
center
bit.
Guard.
On a wet, slippery night like this. Very important. Fresh off the 51-yard score, Deontay Neal back to work in a game of explosives. Neal feeds Cobb, and the Air Force commit pile drives forward for 5 yards.
Shame we didn't have another 1-play drive this time, right? Last 2 have been exactly that. This time a little more conservative approach.
And Mark, in these military-style offenses at Air Force, how important is Cobb pounding the ball on that option run?
Well, he's certainly going to see a lot of that at Air Force, that ground and pound, the triple option offense out there. Very important.
Air Force averages 250 a game on the ground in the Mountain West. Out of the pocket. Here's a short pass. Sharp the catch. He's got the first to the 36. And they're using the athleticism much better with the quarterback.
They sure are. That was an RPO that time. You see it, fake the handoff to Cobb up the middle, put the ball in Neal's hands. He has a chance to swing that ball out like he did that time. Sharp was there waiting for it. He can run, makes a smart play, gets a Sharp, picks up the first down.
9 of 12, and as an offense, nearly 10 yards of play.
And just think about the plays that they've missed already in this game, too.
3 drops in the red zone for Reedsville. Now from the 35. Quarterback keeps, throws deep, end zone shot. Sharp has it. Cam Jones, touchdown. It's a rain angel, the rainmaker, on the Oxnard and Permar 30-yard bomb.
So let's update checks notes here. Yeah, that's 3 drives, 3 touchdowns for Reedsville. That consistency they did not have in the first half. They go into halftime, have a little bit of a powwow, come out, and they have been lightning quick offensively. What a second half so far for these Rams.
5th touchdown for Cam Jones on the year. Filling some huge shoes in Kendra Harrison. No problem. 50 yards in 3 plays.
Big physical.
Oh, hold on. 2-point play. The toss. Oh, it's the option offense perfectly to the Air Force commit. Like Deontay Neal drew it up to his old buddy, Jerry O'Cobb. Dabbing it up with the ball boy.
Don't even know that he's going to be running up the middle a whole lot once he gets to Air Force.
Isn't that precious?
Cobb taking it off the pitch. Great relationship to get that football out there in the rain as well. Ball security outstretches that defense for the 2-pointer.
And the Scholar Athlete of the Week for Reedsville, putting the work in right here on this throw.
How about that? Missed a couple of these throws in the first half to Deontay Neal. Going down the field this time, Cam Jones secures it. Finds pay dirt, and then the execution between 1 and 4. Doesn't get much better than that, partner.
You count the numbers a lot of times on those plays, but smart from the quarterback to read that. Yeah. Now it's a 22-point game. And we're just halfway through the 3rd. Speaking of all those points, stay tuned in the 4th. We'll have our Linder Turf and Tractor scoring summary. Get a great deal on your next Kubota at Linder Turf and Tractor. Good news on turf. No maintenance needed.
Absolutely.
Great donation in partnership with the Carolina Panthers. We talked to you earlier in the game about that. 2nd year of this beautiful stadium, community stadium in Reedsville. Now a tough return for Deshaun Hairston from his sideline. Hairston sneaks out of 1 and out near the 40. Great return.
Ball security is one thing in the rain. The other thing, tackling has to be safe and sound. If you're going to get there and deliver the hit, make sure you wrap up these ball carriers. That time, Hairston, physical running on the kickoff return. Nice spot to start for this Eagles offense.
Zach Marshall in this passing offense, 7 of 14. Can they get the explosive play? Now from the 36. Eagles need a touchdown. Samuel gets the rock. Off a block. Another nice block. Oh, Samuel, a wrecking crew. He gets 9 on 1st down.
Things that are going to help this team, we'll talk about the small things and what this offense can do as they move along throughout the season. You have those blocks down the field by your wide receivers. They maintain them, but they still do it within the game, not holding, not blocking in the back, face mask, whatever it may be. They're getting those blocks down the field. So when Samuel and these other backs bounce outside, they've got room to work with instead of getting shellacked as soon as they turn the corner.
Samuel over 130 yards tonight, anchoring this Eagle offense. Back to Samuel, the counter run. Oh, he's juking and turning. Just short, a gain of 1. Sets up 3rd down.
Big offensive line anchoring the way right now. They are paving the road for Samuel here in the second half of the long touchdown run, and now sets up 3rd and about half a yard.
And with all the rain, there's a ball boy running back and forth, but he's got to sprint like 30 yards.
I mean, look at him. You see him on the screen right now. He's chugging his way back over the sideline.
He's the 12th option for the Eagles. 3rd and 1. No kid needed. It's a QB keeper. Murchel has it. Slides for the 1st. Smart decision on 3rd down.
Slide across the field there like Trey Turner. Different sport, same result.
They got the older ball kid this time heading off the football. Hey, this is the 2-minute drill. We got to age up a little bit.
Nice play, though. The defense is focusing in on Tyreek Samuel. Pull that football out.
Little guy's like, hey, I got the punts and the kickoffs. You take the offensive movement. 140 yards rushing as a team for the Eagles. Marshall with a heavy stacked line. Samuel gets out of 1. Oh, my gosh. Inside the 35, and Tyreek Samuel pushing 150. No answers for him tonight.
No, great blocking again up front. This big offensive line is taking care of business so far in this drive. Again, the perimeter blocking by these receivers pays off. Samuel, the burst, the quickness. And when you get a lane like that, it makes your job pretty easy, doesn't it?
And we've seen Saquon Barkley, his renaissance with the Eagles last week. Now at the high school level, back from injury, Tyreek Samuel carrying the load offensively.
Absolutely. We wanted to see this guy play this week. He was a catalyst for the upset last year. He's been great here tonight.
Barkley, 2 touchdowns in his Eagle debut in the NFL. Samuel has scored tonight, and a hard-earned gain of 6 on the ground that time with a new tailback. But I think Galloway's down. Yeah, he's ruled down after the gain of 6. And now an injury. Bryson Holloway, he'll get back up. The D lineman. I think Holloway a little stinger on his arm after that run.
Another physical run, though, by this offense. Defense has to stiffen up. Started off the second half really well. But now they have not been able to execute, get this offense off the field.
And since the rain came down, the points have followed suit. 3 scoring drives already. And now drive 4, the Eagles knocking on the door. Here's 2nd and 5 officially. There's a hole, and it collapses quickly. Nice tackle. So 3rd and short.
Good penetration, slicing through that offensive line this time. Really nice job getting up the field and making a play there.
That's Tyrese Turner on the stop. He has offers from Averett this week, a D3 program, giving him a look. You got to love those D3 academic kids playing hard. And even at this level of high school, anybody can go on to the next level.
Pruitt was there as 2, but that's the whole thing. If you're going to try to take down Tyreek Samuel, you've got to gang tackle. It's got to be more than one guy getting to him and bringing him to the turf.
This is C.J. Chambliss in at running back. Chambliss gets the rock, slips, and he's dropped. Corey Rhodes takes advantage. It's 4th down.
Chambliss looked a little slow to get up that time, too. You wonder what happened. Of course, with some of the inclement weather here in the second half, he just kind of slipped on the turf.
Yeah, it looks like he might have rolled his ankle, too.
Yeah.
Getting some help from Doug Cottrell as the receiver.
It's just odd. It happened right when the handoff took place.
So he heads out for the play.
And on top of that, didn't run hard at the end of it.
This is 4th in the game for Eastern. Need a 1st down, down 3 scores. Samuel back in at tailback. This is 4th and 4. Time, quick route, complete. Westbrooks, he gets 6. Throw it up and let the 6-foot receiver bring it in.
Just takes that elevator all the way to the top floor, snares that one. Over Deontay Neal, no less. The man with 16 picks on his ledger. Look at this.
Ooh.
Up top, contested catch on. Gotta have it 4th down. What a play by Westbrook.
This is a 12-play drive, and it continues inside the Little Tractor and Crescent Ford 1st down. 1st down handoff. Samuel slips 1. That's a hard-earned carry through 6 defenders for 6 yards. That ratio doesn't happen too often.
It sure doesn't, but man, he is something else, isn't he?
This kid is fantastic.
Sure
Samuel,
is.
over 160 yards rushing. He had 130 in last year's win for Eastern.
Complete running back. Speed, size, power. Season goes on, he's going to start drawing some eyeballs from that collegiate level his way.
Now 2nd and 4. Guess who? It's Samuel. Cuts outside, shimmies, and turns nothing into a yard. The team tackle there from Savion Johnson, the linebacker.
He may have gotten 2, to be honest with you, but that's, again, the mark of a great player is realizing when you are dead in the water, make something happen. It doesn't have to be 20 yards, it can just be 2. Just don't take the loss there, falls forward and picks up a couple yards.
Deep in the Cook Reynolds red zone, running the smart way to get things done. Here's 3rd and 2. Must score drive. Oh, nowhere to go. And a big loss on 3rd down.
One too many times to the well. That time Pruitt and the boys are there waiting for them. The Rams read it, react, and make the play in the backfield.
Sounds like an 80s dive bar band, but Pruitt's all over it.
And look at this, just waves off that offensive tackle. Dives right down inside. And by the time Tyreek Samuel was looking for a lane to run through, Cadence Pruitt was right there to stop that one in his tracks.
And now some math. That 2-point conversion makes it where the field goal doesn't help you here. Right. You need the touchdown. And in motion on 4th down. Quarterback design. Out of the pocket, fumble! And a turnover. The pressure from Johnson and a big stop.
Too many times tonight we've seen that ball put on the turf. Merchel cannot hang on to it again. Goes right down. And the fumble may not have mattered that time, but it is an official fumble recovery that time for Tynes.
Yeah, the play's dead right there, but the scoop for good measure. He's done that 4 times tonight, Mark. Finally costs him.
A little bit of revenge that time by Savion Johnson, too. Gets the sack, atones for the mistake on the punt in the first half as the rain is starting to calm down.
Now it's Friday the 13th. Defense haunting the quarterback. Neal with 2 scores in the quarter, plays in the damp rain, feeds Cobb. High stepping, truck stick to the 35. Stay tuned in the fourth quarter. We'll have our Linder Turf and Tractor scoring summary. You can score a great deal on your next Kubota at Linder Turf and Tractor.
It's always interesting when you get a player who's already committed to kind of see where they fit within the team that they're going to, the program they're going to at the next level with college. And you just look at the way Air Force runs what they do. Cobb is the ideal running back for what they want to do. Size, power, vision.
8 yards for the powerful Cobb. Now it's Neal running. Little pump fake. And Neal gets the first. Closed captioning for tonight's game is brought to you by Caring Hands. Caring Hands Home Health. Hands-on, compassionate care around the clock. And the hands of Neal, so secure with the football.
Rain's coming down. Got to hold on to the football. Keep it in your possession. What a third quarter for these Reedsville Rams. Storming ahead. Take a stranglehold on this one going into the fourth quarter.
Mark Cover, the king of puns. 3-touchdown game as we move to the fourth. Reidsville and Eastern Alamance are on my 48. Welcome to the fourth quarter here in Reedsville. 266 yards of offense for the Rams, and Deontay Neal, 234 of those tonight, accounting for pretty much the whole offense. Start of the fourth quarter, and a fresh set of downs in the 39-yard line. Neal, little pump fake, pressure, and a hold. Neal, creativity, incomplete, and that's coming back on the holding. Now, early in the game, Mark, it was Jaden Parker and Mendoza putting a ton of pressure on Neal.
It sure was, and that time they able to get back there again, force him out of the pocket. We saw the pumps. They wanted to take a shot down the field, but that pressure gets there, forces Neal to scramble out back to the backside, draws a hold.
Only the third penalty for Reidsville,
yeah.
Whereas 7 for Eastern Alamance.
If you're not going to get home, you've got to create some sort of impact. That time it was twofold on that play. Throw the quarterback off a spot and draw a flag. Good job up front by this defense of Eastern Alamance.
The reigning champs of 2A football, Reidsville, who've won 5 of the last 10 in 2A, one of the best divisions in the state.
Not too bad.
Neal, the reigning receiver, now quarterback, feeds Cobb, and he gets 3. Mark, you look at 4-0, Reidsville, the top-ranked team in 2A. Shelby, who they met in a region final, is 1-2, but ranked 3rd. This western side of the bracket could be very tough come November.
Reidsville and Shelby are going to be at the top every single year. You can bank on it. It's just nature of the beast. Those two are going to find themselves eventually at some point throughout the course of the season, and if we are lucky, we'll be delighted to that matchup once the playoffs come.
Here's a second down rollout after the penalty. A nice catch. And Cam Jones hanging on. He fights past the 40 to the 42. And how about a local program, the Randleman Tigers at 3-0, the best passing offense in the state. They're now in the top 5 in 2A football.
Air raid offense reigns supreme. So many different offenses that you experience across college football and now high school football. It's leaked down to this level. See so many different styles. The air raid no different. And Randleman sneaky, very getting into that top 5 very effectively.
Randleman's top receiver, Jack Smith, 150 yards last week as we have an offside on the defense. You think of the heavy hitters in this state. You have Reedsville, back-to-back 2A champs. Mount Airy, a three-peat and counting. They've been rolling in 1A football.
Yeah.
And in 4A, Weddington, the reigning champs. They just played West Forsyth last week. A lot of these reigning champions have the tools to come back and win.
They sure do. And even the ones that don't have the same tools have reloaded that toolbox, and they are going to work.
There's a handoff to Jones working inside. He's past midfield. Sorry, Jariel Cobb on the handoff there to the 49. Even Hickory, the Tornadoes come back with their whole offense.
Yep, and they are just as good as they were a year ago.
Yeah, that Hickory team, Brady Stober, the starting quarterback, Isaiah Lackey, the tailback, that's an elite duo coming back one more year after the Riddle Tractor first down. But not a shabby duo here. Neal and Cobb, 300 combined yards. Neal on first down, and a tough hit over the middle, no gain. Nice pop from Rhett Page, who's a sophomore captain at linebacker.
A very, very good player at that linebacker spot as well. Just likes to roam the field, very instinctual. Game slows down for him once the players get around him. That time he draws a blocking assignment with Michael Smith. Can't bring it in, brings down Sharp for a gain of, well, no gain at all.
Page spent a lot of time with Coach Shaw, the assistant this year in the summer, learning to play middle linebacker. They love his development. Second down, quick toss. There's a catch. Sharp breaks the tackle. Now a hold brings it back. And a block in the back, in fact. So negate the yardage here.
Easy call along that sideline, too, just blatantly in the back.
Not a very busy night for Jeff Davis. No. Fourth penalty for Reedsville. It's all relative at the high school level.
Sure.
Last week, Bishop McGinnis won a thriller over Providence Grove. 25 combined penalties.
Our guy, Gary.
Gary Newton was a busy man that week.
Sure was.
But it was a great finish, too.
It was.
Alex Waterfield with a late drive in the final 2 minutes.
Oh, you're going to be on TV. It's got to be dramatic, right?
Bishop McGinnis, a reigning 1A playoff performer. They could make a run in 1A this year.
Sure is. We're going to have a lot of those matchups this year. As we go throughout the season, there are teams with perennial power to do some damage in the postseason, and some of them will be contending for titles as we go along.
You look at Reidsville, they have a path to run the table the rest of the season after only losing 1 game a year ago. They'll take on North Forsyth next week, who's 3-2 on the year. North battled to Oak Grove last night and lost. Here's out of the pocket, and a quick catch gets the penalty yardage back. And back to midfield here on third down.
Can't say that there's a lot of teams that haven't experienced the wrath of Oak Grove over the last couple of years as well. We talked about them, already seen them this year too. Nice pass though, conservative play down the field. Get that penalty yardage back, now third and still long with 10 yards to go, but a little more manageable picking up all those penalty yards.
Reidsville so efficient, 13 of 16 passing. And here's Neal on 3rd and 10. More pressure. Neal escapes. Neal elects to run. Oh, and he goes short of the sticks. Might have had an option there, but plays it 2 yards short.
And this is 4-down territory. If you are Coach Teague and that Reedsville sideline, just get the ball in there, get it to your best players. That's Neal, that's Cobb. That time Neal takes it himself, picks up a solid set of yards, and now 4th and 1 to go.
He went out of bounds, so the clock stops with just over 8 minutes. in a 3-score game.
Again, at the 41-yard line, too short to punt, too long to kick. Keep your offense out there.
Neal on 4th down, wants movement. What does Eric Teague have drawn up? Playing on the field that his father's named after, Jimmy Teague. Watching from the press box tonight. Here's 4th and short. It's Cobb. There's the first. Oh, fumble! Offensive lineman on it. Tyrese Turner. Good hands. That wet football causing problems. And yes, okay, the ball was recovered past the 1st down line, so it will count. Because correct me if I'm wrong, if he gets it behind the line, is that a stop?
It would be a fumble-rooski, yes. So the ball would not be then advanced forward.
Oh, wait. I think they're ruling him. No, they are giving him the 1st down. Okay. Referees always playing tricks on us.
Not a terrible spot, though, because he did pick up that football right around the 40-yard line. Nevertheless, it does move the sticks.
Okay, officials getting on the same page here. I think Eastern claiming they were short. And you know what? We're going to take a timeout and figure this all out. 3-score game here in Reedsville. Rams back marching when we return on My 48. Closed captioning for tonight's game is brought to you by Caring Hands. Caring Hands Home Health, hands-on, compassionate care around the clock. And it's the hands of Tyrese Turner that keep the drive alive for number 1 Reedsville, top-ranked team in 2A football. Cobb, there was no one to hand it off to, so he throws it. And a 1st down reception. Nice little pitch and catch there with Frankie Galloway.
RPO kind of that time?
It was the fake run pass option.
Right, exactly. So that time it's just a little hang route. Defense is drawn in by...
I think the defense said what we said. Where's the running back?
Where's the running back? And, well, it doesn't matter because he didn't have the football. The receiver did.
Galloway with his 4th catch of the year. Deontay Neal back to work here from the 29. Neal, end zone shot. Jones short, and a flag.
It wasn't a great throw by Deontay Neal, but give credit to Cameron Jones going down the field, finding the ball, and then fighting back through the defensive back that time, draws the flag. That is an excellent job of playing the game through the officials' eyes and getting that flag out on the field.
Waiting for the pass interference ruling here. While we have a minute, Rebecca Russell with more.
Well, we talked about the Jimmy Teague Field and how he's here tonight. He works with the offensive defensive line during the week, and I had a chance to talk with him before the game. And Mark, you'll love this. He says it takes a special kid to play offensive line. They get no glory, and their name never really gets called unless they recover that fumble right now. And he says that it's a team within a team. And one guy he really mentioned that's really stepped up is sophomore Jaquez Tynes, number 77. He's really good with his hands, and he's gotten a lot better. But he loves working out with that offensive line. Jimmy Teague does because he played offensive line.
Great point. 26 years Jimmy Teague running this program in Reidsville. Now his son Eric hanging the duties. That's a neat story tonight.
Man after my own heart. Can make me shed a tear up here, Rebecca.
An offensive lineman through and through. Turner recovered the recent fumble. We noted the play across the line from Rebecca's hit. Now in the red zone, Reidsville searching for drives on every possession. Misdirection. Creativity, and Michael Smith gets a yard.
To Rebecca's point, though, you look across any successful team at any level of football, offensive line's got to be good. Hardly ever are you going to find a successful team that has an offensive line that is okay to bad. So these guys up front have to be the catalyst for everything offensively. Pass protection, run blocking, moving 5 guys as one unit, 6 sometimes if you get those tight ends in there too.
It's a 3 senior offensive line. And now a lot of motion here on second down. Cobb gets the football. He has a block. Cobb bounces off 1, make it 2. Touchdown, Cobb. 13-yard scamper, and Reidsville's pulling away.
Jariel Cobb chewed through that defense that time, just goes straight down the field. And once he gets that second level, he's strong, and stronger than most of the DBs he's going to come across. You see it on full display there, bouncing off of would-be tacklers. And that notice for the end zone, ever present yet again.
Extra point coming on this windy, rainy night. This is Grady Barrett. He drills it. Not prolific passing, but great running the football for Reedsville. 170 yards on the ground.
That's what Coach Teague said. He said he wanted to see this offense get into their running mode. See it there. Jariel Cobb makes this defense pay yet again, and Reedsville is rolling through the second half.
Welcome back to Reedsville. Dominant effort from the reigning state champs. We got kickoff rolling here. And wait, is that a fake fair catch? Or did the refs just not see it?
No, you can't do that.
So there should be a penalty as well.
Right.
On Taraji Rogers, who faked us all. Even faked himself. Learning moment for the high school standout.
Cannot fake a fair catch. Certainly puts that hand up there. You cannot fake a fair catch and then proceed to return the football. That is a penalty.
So back to the 19-yard line. What do you take away from this game tonight if you're Eastern heading into league play?
Well, there were some good things they did. Obviously, the return of Tyreek Samuel certainly boosted this offense in some ways. Great running the football tonight, 160 yards on 22 carries and that long touchdown. But the passing offense has to be better, protection and ball security.
The pass rush gets there, a sack. That's Gaddis. Pardon me. That's Cadence Pruitt.
Seen Pruitt a couple times tonight. His name's certainly called. He's been very active off the edge. This time just beats the left tackle. Mathis had no chance along the edge. Pruitt uses that speed to get around, bring him down.
5th sack for this Reedsville defense on the year. Backup tailback in the game. And Russo, not much room, just a gain of 3. Rebecca, what do you got for us on Pruitt?
I asked Janiah Sharp who he felt like has improved on the defensive side of the ball so far through 3 games, and he mentioned sophomore defensive end Cadence Pruitt. He's come in and isn't afraid to ask questions. He put in the work to understand the defensive scheme and is always trying to get better. Janiah said it's been great watching him apply what he's been learning in practice to game time, and it's shown on the field with his success.
A great point. Pruitt had a collarbone injury last year. Not a big factor as his 3rd down run goes out of play. And now 4th and forever. I feel like you got to go for it here if you're Eastern. And now the punt unit comes out. They concede. Ooh, $500 in the 50-50.
Hey now.
That'll make a dream come true.
There we go. But back to the point we were discussing a couple of plays ago, Evan, with the pass protection being what it is and then ball security from the quarterback spot, it just has not been good enough here tonight. You had to put points on the board to keep up with this Reedsville team. You knew they were going to score. Just not enough responses to what was going on the other sideline here this evening for Eastern Alamance.
Eastern was one body short, so Cottrell's comes on the field. And a 5-yard penalty. Nearing double-figure penalties. Oh, wait, a timeout, I think. Teaching moment here for first-year head coach Mitch Mitchner.
And don't take the moment lightly. Realistically for them, they're coming into this game, again, 0-3. The record is what the record is, and after this one, 0-4. And they're going to be in a dogfight for the rest of the year to find themselves in a good playoff positioning as they start going into conference play. But there are good things. There are signs of this offense doing what it needs to do. They've just got to find consistency and take care of the football.
An offense that ran the ball well in those 2 touchdown drives, but in the first half, Mark, 2 trips to the red zone, no points were huge.
Absolutely. Missed field goal just coming up just short. And then a turnover on downs as well. Just not what you need to do against an offense that is at its peak. A team that is good as they come at the 2A level with Reedsville coming into their house. Had to be sharp, had to be efficient, and play a near-perfect ball game. And the Eagles just have not done that tonight.
Here's Tate Young with his 20th punt of the year. Hold on. And he'll elect for the safety, booting it out of the end zone. And since he wasn't in the end zone, is that an illegal touch?
I believe so.
Because you can do that in the end zone.
Right. But if that's the case, that would put them on the doorstep of scoring another touchdown, no?
In the college game, yes. I'm not sure in the high school game.
Right.
I need to clarify.
Testing these officials with 6 minutes left.
Oh, and here comes our young ball boy out there. He's got a pretty good arm, too. Okay, hold on. I think there needs to be a check of the rule book. There seems to be confusion. It should be a safety and a 15-yard penalty in the kickoff.
Right.
I'm not sure if the officials have the right answer, but they're working through it. There's a lot of confused faces.
It's a different situation. Certainly not one you see all the time.
And it'll be a punting situation.
Right.
Not a kickoff.
Correct.
Because you'll give up the safety. Okay, what we thought. Decline the illegal touching. So it is a safety. Yep, there you go. Takes a team.
Yep. Sometimes it takes a little longer, but that's okay as long as we get to the correct conclusion. Good job by this officiating crew to take the time to sort that one out.
Eastern Alamance will take on their nearby rivals Western Alamance next week. The battle for Mebane. And Western has already played Reedsville this week, and they lost earlier in the year 28-3. It's a good sign how competitive Eastern's been tonight.
Absolutely. They're going to need to. They get a look at a common opponent with Western Alamance against these Reedsville Rams.
Kickoff to the 25. The chance here for Penix. And he'll get 10 yards on the return. Reedsville's lost 1 game in 3 years, Mark. I'm not sure how you slow down this program.
Well, especially when you look at that schedule coming up, it's not really something that they don't go through every single year, right? Conference play is what it is. Walkertown, TW Andrews, Moorhead as well. I mean, these are teams that they play every single year, and they handle their business. And without bashing the rest of the conference, it's kind of hard to go through it and think there is a game that's really going to test these Rams if they execute like we know they can. Like we know they can, like they know they can.
So Deontay Neal, the star of the show for Reedsville tonight, and now in a change of quarterback. But first some movement. And speaking of the Neal family, let's go down to Rebecca Russell.
Well, guys, I'm down here with the Reedsville Rams basketball coach, Jason Ross. Now, you guys won a state title last year, and the football team won a state title, which means Deontay Neal won a state title in both basketball and football. What makes him so special?
He's just a great kid, a great athlete. He's probably one of the best athletes to ever come through Reedsville High School. He works hard in the off season. He works hard during the regular season. He's just good at what he does, and we're just super excited that he's a Reedsville Ram.
What's it like to watch him here on the football field? How does taking what he's learned on the football field take it as a point guard to the basketball court?
Friday nights were rough for me. Every time he takes a hit, my heart kind of palpitates for a minute. But to watch him on the football field, he does exactly what he does on the basketball court. He distributes the ball. He makes the right play. He's a great decision maker. He's just our point guard and our QB1.
What a year for him last year, winning a state title in both basketball and football. How do you top that?
We're going to try to do it again.
Thank you for your time, Coach.
Thank you.
Guys.
Hey, Coach knows the mission. Get back to Winston-Salem and win a championship at the Joel in basketball, and then in football at either Chapel Hill or NC State.
Stay healthy enough for basketball season and watch him go to work. Deontay Neal's just a special athlete all the way around. There's no real other way to put it. Talk about a kid on this stage, quarterback, receiver, defensive back, return man, placeholder as well. I mean, you talk about a guy who can do it all for you, and then he goes out in a basketball court and leads an offense there as well as a point guard. You can't ask for much more from a kid who really embodies what it means to be a Reedsville Ram at that.
So a timeout for Reedsville with quarterback Janiah Sharp talking things over. You start looking ahead for Reedsville in a run to repeat as a 2A champ. The team they faced in the finals last year, Clinton, is 1-3.
Yeah.
This year they've struggled on the eastern side, but the west is where it's really difficult for Reedsville.
Clinton's going to have a hard road back. The Fighting Willie Parkers are in a dogfight every single week. They're out there right now, but again, Reedsville is going to find itself towards the top of the standings almost every year as long as it handles its business. And through the first 4 weeks of this season, they have done just that.
One of 6 undefeated teams, including local team Walkertown, just north, or I guess technically west and north of us. They've had a great start to the year, 3-0.
Sure have. I believe we talked about Walkertown last week as well.
Walkertown has an elite receiver, Mitren Curry, 7 touchdowns this year. That's a nice weapon for this passing game.
Oh, that's a fantastic weapon for that passing game. Walkertown, again, one of those teams that has a couple down years and they have that one really good year that comes up. This might be it for them.
A good 2A program. Is here Sharp heaving a prayer. It's intercepted. There is a flag and a nice pick. First turnover forced by the Eastern defense. Brandon Lindsay, the safety. And the flag's on Reedsville, so interception for Eastern.
Wondered if it had to be either a hold or some sort of roughing call.
Congrats to Lindsay, his first career pick.
There you go. Give the ball back to your offense. You play
Coach, my arm's tired.
Yeah.
let me play receiver. I can't throw it as deep as my boy Deontay Neal. Yeah, I got a little arm tendonitis there. Sharp's also part of the basketball team. I'm curious how. We just talked to Coach a minute ago how he feels about that.
It's pretty scary though when your basketball players that won a state title are this good on the gridiron as well. I mean,
and lost just one game in basketball last year. New offensive lineman rumbles in before the snap. A lot of backups in the game now. It's Jaden Russo. He'll get 2. No Mr. Miyagi connection to Karate Kid, but Russo comes in and gets a couple.
These are the times where you get to develop, especially on the Eastern Alamance side of things, where you've got to figure out something quick before you go into enemy territory for the 3rd straight week next week against Western Alamance.
A pass. A little pressure for Merchel, and that's out of bounds. Clock will not run until there's a 40-point difference in high school football.
More pressure. It's been a tale of 2 halves for this offense. Only 7 points in each half. But the way, at least perception-wise, it looked was much better in the first half. Those adjustments that Reedsville made at halftime just were not matched here in the second half by Eastern Alamance. They could not keep up.
Burchell on 3rd and 8 looks to channel his Bryce Baker of East Forsyth, who last week, Mark, threw for 482 yards and now leads the state in passing.
Absolutely unbelievable.
The Chapel Hill commits putting next-level numbers up.
We'll see him in a couple weeks as well.
And you see Mac Brown with a quarterback injury now. I mean, if you're Bryce Baker next year as a freshman, you have a chance to play from East Forsyth.
And Mac Brown is not afraid to play freshman, is he?
Think of Drake May as a freshman, filling in, and now a first-round pick of the Patriots.
You can go the whole way back to his years at Texas with Colt McCoy.
McCoy made it to a national title as a young freshman playing Alabama in the Sugar Bowl.
Spent some time as the winningest quarterback in college football history, too. He's not afraid to play freshmen, so if you are Bryce Baker, you're certainly thinking about that as you go into that college career.
Here's the punt for Tate Young. That takes a squib and picked up at the 38. No, it's a dead ball. How about our player of the game here from the Carolina Classic Fair? And tonight, it's Deontay Neal making things happen.
Pretty easy pick for us, wasn't it? Absolutely incredible tonight, lighting it up on the ground, through the air. The athleticism on full display throughout the evening. And for a kid who has not played quarterback since middle school, these first 4 games of the year, you could argue he's been one of the best quarterbacks in the state, especially when you have game-breaking speed and an arm that can stretch the field like Deontay Neal, our Carolina Classic Fair player of the game.
82 yards on the ground, 170 in the air. It was the Neal show. He's got the pads off. Now that's smart. Don't let the dual threat athlete sneak back on the field. No, you're good. You take off the pads, you get ready for next week.
Cobb's the same way.
Yeah, running back and the QB out.
Must feel pretty good when you can take those pads off, realizing you did a good job here tonight. Set your team up for 4-0.
It's a running play with third-string quarterback. And a short gain on first down.
Who stops Reedsville?
In 2A football, I don't know. I mean, Shelby in the West is great competition.
Yeah.
They made the region final last year.
Yep.
It's wide open right now.
And Shelby's still going to be really good. They had a pretty hard, rough, I'd say hard, but a little tougher non-conference schedule, so they'll be right where they need to be by the season's end, I would assume.
6 weeks from the playoffs. Backup QB in there. That's a hard hit. And a nice spin on the tackle. That's the backup linebacker, Jaden Parker. And how about Mark, our play of the game, my 48 play of the game, and Deontay Neal again making things happen.
Sure did. That athleticism on full display, the speed here, and just watch him split these defensive backs.
Someone's running full speed and someone can't catch up to full speed.
Exactly, and that's just a tough break for that Eastern Alamance defense. The one juke there, shake the one defender, get upfield, and the race to the end zone. Splits the 2 DBs. What a play. Another highlight reel play for Deontay Neal.
He blows by Hairston for the touchdown. Now 3rd down, a handoff. Got to love an O-lineman finishing that block right there.
Not that.
That's Keyshawn Henry, the freshman. A freshman.
You know Jimmy Teague's up here in the booth with us. He's smiling a little bit, right?
Zaylin Hampton got the handoff. One of the captains, a senior.
Either side, you want to see them, though, competing like that to the end of the game, right? These are guys that don't usually get on the field a whole lot. So some time to get some burn down there on the field, see the field. You want to make an impact. I also guarantee you, once they go into film study, either Sunday or Monday, he's going to point that out, be like, look, pancake, a little bit of syrup.
Pancakes are served up well after a 31-point win for Reedsville. Will now get right back in the all-time series. They've split the last 4, but not tonight.
Seemed competitive. First half was a little tighter than I think a lot of people came in here expecting.
14-7. And
Reedsville
Eastern had 2 drives in the red zone.
Yep. Reedsville was a little out of sorts, missed some deep touchdown passes in the first half, but those adjustments they made at halftime, this coaching staff challenging them to do better, especially up front on both sides of the ball. They were up to the task and come out with a resounding answer in the second half. Pull away.
Reidsville's last loss a year ago this week to Eastern Alamance. What a difference a year makes. And now possibly the final play. Oop. Bad snap, maybe not the final play. As that clock just keeps running. And that'll wrap things up. Reedsville, one of the best teams in North Carolina football, holds home turf, and they avenge last year's loss with a dominant 31-point win.
Little iffy in the first half, but able to execute here in the second half to pull away. The Reidsville Rams put that strength to the test and come out victorious against the one team that has put a blemish on their record here in the last 2 years.
The Linder Turf and Tractor scoring summary. Reidsville dominant, 45 points. Plenty to put away their rivals. When we come back, final interviews and a trophy to hand out when we return on our My 48 Game of the Week.
Our final score from Jimmy Teague Field, 45-14, the Reedsville Rams. We've got the whole squad down here, and Eric Teague, coach, I got to say it was 14-7 at the half. What happened?
Offense turned it on in the second half. Defense made some stops. Offensively, we just kept on third down, second down. We kept finding ways to move the ball down the field and put the ball in the end zone, and we didn't have to punt till that final drive right there. So offense was efficient. We were making plays and put the ball in the end zone, and then defense made stops when we need to.
You got this whole team surrounded around you right now. You guys are now 4-0. How does this win define where your team is right now, and what do you have to say about the guys around you?
These guys have been working as hard as they can since spring practice. We just finished non-conference play, so next week we start conference play. As you start conference, you start to get to end of September, October. That's when it starts to get real and it starts to get cool a little bit. That's when you know you're playing for something, so that starts next week.
And look at that. They're all listening to you very intently. Well, one guy we want to bring in here is the rainmaker, Deontay Neal, our player of the game. He made it happen on the ground, in the air, but he had the help and the support of offensive line guys all around him. What do you have to say about his performance tonight?
That was the second half when we were moving the ball down the field. He was a big part of that. He getting out of the pocket, finding those receivers down the field, and then making play with his legs. There was one crazy play he made where he broke about 3 tackles and then got the first down. So he's an unbelievable athlete and makes plays when we need him to.
Well, you guys have been very quiet, but I'm going to let you celebrate right now. Coach, here's your trophy. Congratulations. It's the Carolina Classic Bears Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week. The Reedsville Rams take it home.
The boys celebrating here in Reedsville. Avenge a loss from last year, and we'd like to take a moment to thank all of our sponsors who make this game possible. Capital Metals in High Point, the plaques and trophies, Cook Reynolds for those end zone views, and Mountain Fried Chicken for a great meal. Finally, to the high schools, administrators, all their support for our Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals broadcast. Next week, From one pillar of 2A football to a 4A standout, it's the Grimsley Whirlies. Friday at 7:30, they visit the Southeast Guilford Falcons, who want to play spoiler. Let's see on my 48. Weather was a little crazy, but so was the offense. Deontay Neal put on a show. Tyreek Samuel pretty good as well for Eastern Alamance. We're going to sign off from Reidsville for our director, Drew DeMarcantonio, our producer, Lloyd Bates, for Mark Covert, our whole team, Rebecca Russell down on the sideline, I'm Evan Budrovich. We'll see you next week, Grimsley versus Southeast Guilford. But for tonight, one of the best teams in high school football continues their dominance of 2A.